Yesterday was an intense day where we saw 3 overtimes, back to back for 2-0s for both sides. But the night felt really long. But for now, it's gonna be an even better day, hopefully. Let's not say that yesterday was a bad day, but yesterday was an intense day for sure. But anyways, putting that aside, I'm Tashmin alongside Kamask, and welcome. This is the Game Changers EMEA, and I am very excited for the 2 matches ahead of us.
Yeah, same here. It's gonna be two banger games, but with certainly a lot of different circumstances. One is more about a playoff and relegation battle, and the other one, for me, is the battle for first place in group number B. We're gonna have NASR versus O1O and a Falcons versus Giant X today. 2 absolutely banger matches. But as I already said, certainly different circumstances for all of those teams.
Definitely. Looking at today, before we go, this is day number 5, where we are looking at the standings right now. We're currently at the bottom of the ladder. We're looking at Heroic Valkyries. And on top as well, we're looking at Giant X as well as G2 Gozen. Now, NASR, Ignite, and O1O, these are the 2 teams that's going up first for today. And as you said before, this is a very, very high-stakes situation for them, because both these teams want to avoid being at the bottom of the bracket to avoid relegation.
Yeah, and they want to keep their chances up to go to the Game Changers Championship in Berlin in November. And it's gonna be a little bit of a decision match day today, because if NASR loses this one, they are more or less likely to end up in last place. They lost against Alternate Attacks, and their other 2 games ahead of them are G2 and Carmine Corp. It's gonna be a rough one for them if they lose out against O1O. O1O, on the other hand, they have a chance, because they're gonna play Alternate Attacks throughout the week. On Friday will be their next matchup. But yeah, there we are seeing NASR Ignite. Normally, I would say a great team. They played very, very good Valorant in the last split, secured 4th place in the end, and now they are struggling after losing to Alternate Attacks in this, I have to say it, incredibly hard group. Like, if you lose to Attacks in this group, you're automatically in a relegation zone, because K-Corp and G2 just seem so strong currently.
I agree with you. K-Corp and G2 has shown us a lot of tenacity and shown us some world-class Valorant. And on the flip side, we're also looking at O1O. So this is a very interesting team as well, because I believe, I'm not sure if they are signed now, so correct me if I'm wrong, they are unsigned. They are one of the team that has shown us a lot of promise. This team coming together, not only are they unsigned, but they are a team that has incredible skill, really good calling, as well as teamwork, and insanely good potential, especially when it comes to sharpshooting.
Yeah, 100%. I feel like it's a team with incredible potential, but they need to realize it. Like, they made so many changes. Jade Maw, Devil Scar, Sasbake, all of them coming into this roster is just shaking up their team composition so much currently. And you saw this against Carmine Corp at the beginning of the week. And in my opinion, they looked better than NASR did yesterday, because K-Corp should be the better team than Alternate Attacks. But still, it's not like those 2 teams are going to be favored for this group in any way after those first few losses. And it might already be a decider match for the relegation battle, looking at how Attacks is playing and that they are playing O1O on Friday. And also, if NASR loses here, I don't think that they're going to win a series throughout the whole group stage if they don't upset G2 or Carmine Corp.
Yeah, now coming into NASR, it's not to say that they are a team that's not up there, because if you look at individual stats, especially for Marty, she has showed us quite an insane, I would say, style of play and potential. Because the way that she has been playing is she's very aggressive, willing to take up space, but the biggest problem I believe that is with NASR right now is the calling, is the decision making, because they're not able to decisively as a team play together. And Marty, I believe she shines more on the defense side, because she's able to play on her own terms compared to playing with a team when it comes to executing on attack.
Yeah, certainly. And like, the calling is for sure a problem right now for NASR. It feels like some of their structures are just falling apart suddenly after they were so set at the end of last split. Like, going into the split, for me, NASR was one of the favorites to make the biggest upsets or to be the most surprising team, because they suddenly went for place number 4 at the end of the last split, and it's so rough to see them in this kind of condition against Attacks. because I was really scared for attacks at the start of the last match day, because I thought, falling back to O, you kind of have to win against O1O on Friday. Then now they are in a more comfortable situation than NASR, it feels, and NASR for me was 100% the better team on paper.
Yeah, I mean, when you look at NASR yesterday, Abyss went, I mean, it is their map pick, but they did go toe-to-toe even into an overtime onto that map itself. And on rounds which felt really good for them, when they feel good, when you can feel that the momentum's on their side, they can really bring it. They can play as a team. They look really, really great. But when things go wrong, when they have no clue how to commit, how to execute, that's where things start to fall apart. They start to peak one by one. It feels like there is a communication breakdown between the team and an unsure calling for that mid-round to late round, especially for the team as well. So they need to be a little bit more decisive in what they want. Because when calls are quick, when they are decisive, and they're like, okay, let's hit B, let's do it quick, they do it very, very well. So this is something that I would love to see NASR fix, especially on to today, because today is especially high stakes. Now, odd one out is a very interesting one to me, because again, high potential, plays very well, good chemistry. But the biggest problem they had was that they had their opponents they had played first is some of the hardest opponents to beat. But it does not by any means say a sorry that they were bad or anything. It was just simply that they were outplayed. But today will be a day perhaps that we could be surprised by NASR, or will odd one out take it back home is the question, where we're looking at Haven, Ascent, and Sunset.
I don't like the decider here for NASR, right? Their Sunset looked so bad.
13-5 last night.
Like
yes.
in the last night, Sunset looked so bad, so indecisive. I like their Abyss actually. Like, Abyss was the map pick of alternate attacks. They brought it into overtime, and afterwards I felt like, oh, this is gonna be a hard one, because like when you go toe-to-toe on the map pick of your opponent, and especially in Abyss, a map that's so volatile, and teams normally pick it when you have a clear plan, the clear structure on it. And you go toe-to-toe like this, it normally tends to fall apart in the second map.
Yeah.
But they looked so bad. I don't want to be too harsh on them, because like it's still an insanely talented team, and they played great Valorant in the last split, but their Sunset doesn't look great for me, and it's just a different phase of NASR than we saw last split.
Yeah, I mean, which is very, very interesting as well, right? Considering that Sunset was their map pick, and we thought that they would have had a game plan. Because when you look at that game as well, at first I thought, okay, maybe they're starting to lose because you know, they were getting counterplayed because it was an outplay perhaps, but it wasn't really the case. Again, it just comes down to that. Sometimes, I know I hate saying this word, fundamentals, but sometimes it just comes down to that idea of being able to trade together, being able to play together, not getting picked off one by one was definitely something that we saw in map number 1. It seemed to really escalate into map number 2. Not too sure what happened behind the scenes, because that is usually sometimes when you know, when a team starts to falter or shake, usually there is stuff happening behind the scenes as well. I think if you watch Paper Rex's tweets before, especially from something, they did say that the biggest problem they had was some internal issues. So I really hope that isn't the case for NASR Ignite. Regardless, coming into this one, you know, really hoping that, you know, yesterday, a team that has lost is a team that has learned. And I'm really hoping that that loss was something that NASR could take to really learn and kind of like snowball the potential today. Regardless, coming into this game now, map number 1, we're going to be looking at the agent select. We talked a lot about NASR, but let's talk a little bit more about Odd One Out. So Odd One Out, a team that I would say high potential, very volatile, and I think a lot of eyes were on Annie, the sharpshooter. What do you think she can bring to the table on this game?
You already said as much. A lot of eyes on Annie. Probably the superstar player that Odd One Out currently has. Like, she and Sonya are the 2 players that stayed for the last after the last split, and the rest just changed up a lot. Like, especially with Jademore coming in, I feel like you have more calling experience compared to the last split, and it takes a lot of load of shoulders of other players, because Jademore is incredibly vocal. One of the greater players we had in tier 2 in the last split. She has game changers experience. For me, a player that can pop off basically in every game. I was a little bit confused about the fit in Odd One Out, especially since they added like 3 Sova players in a lineup that had 6 Sonya with a Sova one trick. So yeah, I was a little bit concerned about that, but other than that, I feel like Odd One Out is one of the best shooting teams in all of Game Changers EMEA right now. And if it comes down to pure aim, they are gonna have a good time. But if we're looking at the agent select, I dislike the matchup for them right now because you don't have a Cypher into that Neon. You have a Cypher on the other side who, at this point, for me, is the better Sentinel on the side of Haven. And so I much prefer the NASR Ignite team comp. But we can talk a lot about it. We're going into game number 1 between O1O and NASR Ignite. It's gonna be an insanely good one. And I'm just hyped to see what those two teams bring to the table. It might be the relegation battle already on. Let's go.
That is the question right now, but we have seen this the Neon played on this map many times. Marty, a player that's very aggressive. She wants to take up space, walking out straight into B. Forced to move away because she has been noticed. But the same could be said about Annie. A lot of pressure into those smokes and perhaps just has to change it up.
Yeah, especially Haven tends to be a map that's more of the attacker-handled side. I like this. I kind of like the stack from O1O that they're wanting to play C on retake, have a lot of pressure in garage, might be able to split up the team if they want to go for a B or C execute. And it looks like the C execute will be the call for O1O. Assembling all of their members there, and they have an execute heavy comp, right? You have Breach plus Neon. This one will be the one-time go punch on the C side, but Murray already known.
Straight into the backside. Paranoia. Just deter her just a bit, but Jade was ready. No! In fact, it's going to be a knock. Comes on top, and Luxie definitely chunk her teammate out. Bit unfortunate. 1-for-1 trade, but not really a 1-for-1. 2-for-0, if you think about it. Safia hasn't moved out quite yet. Garage fully in her command.
Oh, I like
a lot of question ones from O1O as they try and figure out where they are going to be going. Paranoia down, and as well as the plant just right in time. The other members of O1O making their way silently but slowly onto the site itself. And now it's just about time to just figure out how exactly are they going to go and reach 3 members.
I like to play here. Like, rotating off to garage feels very appropriate in that situation. Sparke and Devil's already onto the side. Safia alone, left alone in garage. It was for situation. Sparke gets a triple kill on her side, and with that O1O floods the side and takes the frag. Spike defuse as well. Interesting play by NASR, great calling, but in the end, O1O just better.
I think this comes back to what our conversation in the pre-show was, right? About how we say when NASR is very, I would say, decisive about their takes, they can just quickly get onto that site. But I'm not too sure what happened between Marty and Luxie right there. It was just very unfortunate that her position and her HP was quite low and she got taken out very early. But with 3 of them inside of garage, retakes, or protecting the spike was getting a little bit harder, and it was no problem for O1O to just retake that space and just fight them to get onto the site itself.
Yes, as much. No problem for O1O to retake this. But once again, I liked the call from NASR Ignite to say, okay, Nami finds Sonya. Interesting one. First Rapma already out of contention. But I like the calling, which was a huge problem on that last map we saw them lose. Where you had problems in those mid-round situations.
I'm not too sure as well. I think we're having a little bit of problem. Never mind, we're back in the game. So one more time, we saw that Marty actually picked up an upgrade. This could be massive, but Devil quickly shuts down 2. Very aggressive. Quick play here as Jade holding down the back line. A double swing from NASR looks great. Talked about the team play and teamwork. Seems to have, they haven't exactly figured it out just for a little while. As Marty's still holding it out, they're just going to swing up and straight into the sewers itself as Devil gonna fight Tokamite. Marty with 1 tap to the head. Annie is there to answer. But as O1O wins the round at the cost of 4 guns.
Yeah, at the cost of 4 guns, but O1O gets the round as well. That's the important part. Your bonus doesn't look too good, but in the end, you know, you still won that second round, and this follow-up probably the most important thing at this point in time. O1O with at least a good start into that map, and that should be a little bit concerning, especially for NASR Ignite. attacker side seems to be the better side on Haven. Like you have those free bomb planting spots. You can just go all out, and if you're creative with your rotations, then you're in a situation where you have a lot of options, especially here on Haven. A lot of rotation pieces that come back together, and in the end, it comes down to creativity. That kind of feels like the same as Lotus in many situations.
Yeah, I think in this situation as well, it's all about that. We're just wondering like what was happening on that round itself. I mean, when we talk about that first round, it was an easy side take, was an easy pickoff, and unfortunately there was a little bit of a breakdown in communication where Luxi unfortunately took down Marty a little bit too early. But then it still, despite that they still had 3 players still very much intact, I would have loved to see NASR play on site, prepare a crossfire just to disallow O1O from being able to play into the site itself. And because they had cannot relinquish the site or the space they had held, which is C site, and played inside Garage, O1O is a team that's very volatile, very, very aggressive. You give them an inch, they take a mile, and in that fact, they took the whole entirety of Seaside and just denied them any space to retake or protect that spike, which was honestly very unfortunate. But yeah, they looked better on round 2, especially with that pickoff, that first pick by Nami, which gave Marty a huge upgrade and caused a lot of economical damage to the team.
Yeah, with that, I mean, you at least have some sheriffs ready on the side of O1O, and you know, we know the game changers sheriff Mia at this point.
Yeah.
At some point, we need to get that gun in game, but yeah, you know, it's gonna be still a really rough one for NASR Ignite losing out on those two rounds, especially since I feel like you had that round in your hand. You get an entry on Marty. Afterwards, yeah, it's a bit unlucky with the aftershock, and the too aggressive play of Marty or the wrong calling, like whatever caused that error that Luxi's aftershock in the end killed Marty. So it got a little bit unlucky, and afterwards your side hold was just not good enough. And on the other hand, like O1O, just incredible aimers. We talked about it in the pre-show. Probably one of the best aiming teams in all of Game Changers EMEA. So it's in an overall sense just hard to pinpoint it on one thing or another. But NASR Ignite fixed one problem, it feels like, and ran into another one where their mid-round calling was good. It was a great idea to leave Safia in the garage and call out the rotation, and afterwards react to that set rotation from O1O. But it didn't really work out in the end for NASR Ignite. But with that, we are back into the game.
Thank you so much for bearing with the little bit of tech issues as Annie this time around with an outlaw in hand. It's an incredible damage this Kun has been able to do to teams. Fast lane up, immediately Luxi gets that and goes for one more. She is hungry for blood and she is delivering those kills. Quick reload on the backside, and looks like they still want to try and contest it, but not before Safia takes her down. But Devil just quick on that trade. Jade gonna be trying to go for that flank, not happening quite yet as Nami, very, very keen eye watching the backside, but damage has been done. Lost 3 members just in the skirmish over on Seat Main. This Devil just peeking out from Garage. Just gonna be able to relinquish this side and this space, and she knows with one tap she's able to just take her out if she wants to, as silence is very, very deafening between these two teams. A lot of question marks coming in from O1O, but they're still holding down the line, holding very strong. And without their Killjoy, well, close by at the very least, they're gonna be able to just sneak off into a site unknown.
30 seconds left.
They passed the bot in the middle. Like, I feel like Sasparka was too far away, so her alarm bot didn't trigger anymore. And now they potentially just
they're actually gonna re-hit C.
They're gonna re-hit C as much. They are gonna be spotted by the bot in Garage.
They know.
I don't think that there's enough time. You need to go on B. I feel C spot
they can go on C.
Close enough. You can actually plant this one on C, but need to plant behind the boxes. That's a really, really rough spot to hold, especially since there is no information. But O1O just walked through enemy spawn onto A, which is a little bit wild considering the circumstances. It's gonna. They need to hit C right now.
Perhaps overthought. Long insight now for Takamighty. Yesterday, she was able to put up the numbers. She was aggressive. Unfortunately, this time, Uzbaka gonna land that shot, but able to play a little bit more close. Clears out Takamighty. Now, with Nami all alone, time ticking. All she can do is just buy as much time as she can. She sprays. She's good for 1. She's
Nami?
good for 2. But can she go for 3? No, she can't.
Imagine if
Time.
I died right now.
She's gonna be very, very close for this.
And she gets it.
And she gets it.
No, you don't
Easy.
deserve my invention.
She
Converted
easily
that
converted.
bonus.
Converting that bonus in the end. And yeah, and it's just very, very strong gunplay by O1O, but I feel like an oversight from NASR to not buy full sheet right now, because you know that this outlaw will be in play, right? There was an outlaw on the jet in the last round as well. You know it will be in place, and then to go half sheet on basically everyone in your comp is a crazy decision for me. Like, you basically giving your opponent a pre-operator on bonus round. That's rough one for NASR Ignite, and then Annie gets 2 frags, picks them apart perfectly. Now she's on the bigger gun, the operator. So
She's gonna
starting
be
to come
happy
into
with that.
play.
Yeah, I think she's gonna
It's gonna
be
hurt.
very, very happy. She loves the big guns. And all eyes are on her. Yesterday, we could see so many praises coming for her as well. Sonya, the iconic duo, Annie going very aggressive. She has the op in hand, and the op is her confidence here. Fortunately for her, that flash forced to displace her, and she runs away barely by the skin of her teeth. Please straight up to the site. But 6 Sonya is there at least to make sure that it's going to be a clear area into the sewers by itself. Taking their time here, they spot out at least the bot from the Killjoy as Marty quick to clear it. So is Becca keeping very, very quiet. Not
Do they check the
sound
corner?
made. Yeah, they weren't able to. They were too busy, or rather a little bit too preoccupied by that bot, and Annie finally gets the pick that she's been wanting from the beginning. Marty gonna go down here as Nami slowly walking up, playing with her teammates. Jumps out of the way, not able to secure that pick off yet. She does alongside Safia. 6 Sonya for that trade, but Safia 2 in her pocket. Still, 2 more players of O1O to worry about. This round, they need to win it. Extremely crucial. They don't secure it, might spell disaster for their economies for the next at least 2 rounds or so. As Heaven smoked out, they see completely nothing for now. As Jade just clear out one corner there, finds no one in graffiti. Safia wondering if she should decide to just peek this. The TP down to the bottom ground inside of the smoke. Tsubake really quick on that contact as they swing out Luxi, but Nami is there to protect her teammate, and NASR finally a point to the board.
I really like the smoke from Jade Mao there. She used it to isolate the 1v1s after porting into it. You can just swing, kind of swing out of it, create a little bit more space, but round falls apart at this point. Like, Sonya had a opportunity to spray this one down, but doesn't quite find the aim. And put that odd one out back to an eco round. So NASR Ignite, they got into the game. The economy couldn't stabilize on the side of O1O, but also Safia only with a stinger in hand. Some smaller guns coming through. I don't know if it's the best option to use that stinger instead of, you know, just going for the neon ultimate and let Safia play a bigger gun. But it is a Cypher. You kind of go for those close range interactions anyways because you have a lurking system in place. So really, really important round to win from the side of NASR. Early contact found. Sparker only trades herself out, and with that, C-Spot has been hitted, and it's gonna be a retake for O1O.
Quick on that plan as well. NASR very aggressive in the side takes, very indecisive. Had a conversation about this in the pre-show, about their decision making and what they want. It seems like, at least in the early rounds, they're aware of what to do. Get those picks, make this noise, and unfortunately for Annie, paranoia hits her. She buys some time, but she does know there's someone in the backside there. Great recon from a teammate, but there is the Hunter's Fury. A bit too early if you ask me, but Rolling Thunder is the very there. Safia spraying from the backside. Unfortunately, Takamighty is gonna get one, but Annie aggressively to her teammate. She sprays, she gets one. Sophia, unfortunately, not able to land those shots. And on one out, they take the round back.
What did we just witness from Annie? Just rushes it into the main area. 3 frags without any congestion. Like, to be fair, you need to hold your mate there, right? Like, the opener from Annie, great. But here you can't get 3 frags. Also you can't get both in the main area. Like, Sova needs to hold her mate. And in the end, once again, it's about communication for NASR. Annie is just cooking. Her aim absolutely clean. 4-on-1, odd one out. What a start on their own map pick.
Sheriff's on board here. Yeah, Sheriff's on board, as you mentioned before. These girls, these players, sharp as ever. But this time around, less aggression from Marty. The jump peaks all around, making some noise, but odd one out. They know that it's all just a ruse.
Here.
Yeah, it's all just some fakes coming through. NASR need to find an angle to open up this round. Once again, Haven tends to fall more into the attacker-sided half than it does into the defense-sided. And going down 1 and 5 onto your attack isn't the best circumstance, especially with this neon comp. I kind of feel like it enables your attack side even more because your side goes are so much faster.
Mighty yesterday was the one to put out numbers for the team, and this time around, Prowl Drone finds nothing. Hunter's Fury for 6 Sonya just to deny that plant. Tags 2 of the players. A lot of damage, and on top of that, comboed with the lockdown. Yes, Spike goes down, but in this situation, are they able to hold it? See the shot down to clear those area, but not too sure. Annie was just really quick with those shots. And we waste no time. Goes in for the defuse, and Jade and her teammates just putting so much pressure into those smokes. It's so hard for NASR Ignite to really take care of them. Safia putting numbers on the board as she usually does. Good for 2. That Stinger does the deal with diligence, but odd one will be the one to come up on top. Gun disparity a bit much, but NASR has done the damage though.
I mean, the fight was clean on side for NASR, but you already said that the gun disparity just too big of a thing to overcome for NASR Ignite right here and right now. Marty on her ultimate, but still relies on her weapons. Neon ultimate in play for a long time now, it feels like, and still trigger hasn't been pulled. What can NASR Ignite do? Once again, every round now is an important one. You want to get a lead on that first half, but now the Neon ultimate comes through. A lot of space has been taken. B-side already conquered by the side of NASR Ignite, but that's totally fine for the team of O1O. There's no lockdown in play, but still want to play this B-side on retake as he usually does, and Sparkle opens things up in her own spawn.
Sparkle has always been there, very diligent, and so is Sonya. Aggression comes through. Fortunately, 1 by 1, the players of NASR fall like dominoes. It's rough, getting picked up 1 by 1. This has been one of the biggest problems this team has been facing. Luxie not only trying to dwindle down the numbers, but timing not on her side. And it's unfortunate for her to be meeting into the sharpshooter of O1O. Annie, again, high numbers on the board. 11-4, in fact, way ahead of her teammates.
You try to get out of this corner and watch him to look into 4 people with all of pulled guns. Annie, what a great performance from her, and that's a very late timeout by NASR Ignite, it feels. Having this 1 or 2 rounds earlier would have been good.
Yeah, I was wondering why it took too long for the team and for NASR, but I guess for them, they really need to figure out things by themselves. But what do you think has been the biggest problem NASR is facing?
It doesn't feel like the calling is the biggest problem. It feels much more decisive compared to the last few games I've seen from them. But it all comes down to late execution of those rounds. Once you are on site, they doesn't seem to be very coordinated and doesn't seem to be on the same page as much, right? Like,
Yeah.
Marty is already in spawn, and all of their team just tries to play the disciplined side hold, and you can't really mix those two identities together as much as NASR tries to do right here. They're kind of falling apart in post-plant situations. We see as much, right? They planted the spike into 5 of their last 6 rounds, and that's not a good sign for you if you can't execute it in post-plant, especially when you're in situations where it's 5v5 or 4v4 a lot. Like, it's not like O1O starts off with 3 to 4 frags. Most of the time they are ahead, but now they're starting things off much more aggressive. Mix up by O1O. Jademore and Annie already down with the frags, and this round falls into a finger snap. Triple kill by Jademore, and O1O is on 7.
Very aggressive, very decisive. They took up that space, understanding the gun disparity, and being able to just truly overwhelm them. The double swings, understanding that they have sheriffs in hand. If you are to swing together, if they even got a pick off, they're gonna be able to trade that round. Very, very phenomenal from O1O. Understanding how exactly to play in these kind of situations is the one to bring you to the top. Now NASR, they can slowly feel control going out of their grip. They're not able to take up space. They're not able to commend this momentum. And Smoke's already set down all the way up to C-Long just to deny a little bit more space taken away. And Marty sprays this time around, pays dividends straight into Jade. And having no smokes in the defense side this early could spell trouble.
A lot of this, in fact. Great opener from Marty. Might have opened up the round for NASR Ignite as much as it is possible. Starts have been rough for them. The whole season up until now, not the kindest to the NASR Ignite lineup. 4th place last split. But
Safia.
Great run onto Sasbaka.
Really good in the holes, watching flank and making sure no one from O1O take the space or even dares to backstab them. But it's all about trying to figure out where exactly going to be hitting. Nami, she'll be the one taking the tip of the spear, watching that flank. A nice one-way setup forward. Ready to spray, spots the leg, but not enough to get the kill. Paranoia, just to deny some time. Not one out, they're okay. We're just waiting down the time and that space, waiting out all those utilities. And as the utilities dry out for NASR, this is when O1O want to strike. Like a snake waiting in the grass. 3 members just slowly making their way onto the site. NASR members with 3 all the way onto long. Op in hand, Annie. She can go for those pickoffs if she wants to. But where is the 4th? Unaccounted for. Fast lane used just to buy a little bit of time so they'll not be able to see location of the backline scene as well. But Safia and Luxi, they take up that space. Shocking the members of O1O, and that's exactly how you want to play a post plan. They got it finally.
Finally good post plan from NASR Ignite. It has been finally done. Like, everything's opened up by Marty, we have to say. Like, if she doesn't get that first frag, things go drastically different for O1O. They have more options to just play around. Jademore falls down immediately when the round starts, just makes things a lot more difficult for the unsigned lineup. I just have to say it one more time. Forgot whatever. Just sign O1O. Like, please do it. Can someone come around and sign those players? But, you know, in the end, NASR takes a lot of space in other areas of the map. That's something I would love to see from them. Just spread out a little bit more into post plan. 3 players in main and 2 into garage. Just to have some more wiggle room and some more rotations and options to peek for each other.
That's exactly what they saw, and look at this. Play very aggressive here. Nami waits to just punish. We've seen so many of these kills many times from NASR. But Devil will be able to trade Nami out by some time. Might be a C hit once again, potentially. Players of O1O just completely spread out here with 2 just hovering between C and B and another 2 between A and B. They have no clue where NASR is hitting. But these sort of defaults give so much value. And we can see that they've managed to pull a lot of players to just really rotate onto C site. But it's actually a rose once again. It's going to be an A hit. But O1O wise to their tactics already. Quickly making their way over. As Marty walks straight into the site itself, they're not going to try and overtake any space. And unfortunately, once again, Sixonia with the pick off the Hunter's Fury. Looking so good! Combo together with that recon! Tsubaki on Haven. Trying to make sure she can see anyone at the bottom side here. Devil's really hard when you have one person playing a little bit more close. You have to be very decisive with your push-outs. Waiting for that flash. 1, 2, 3, swing. Yes, they do, but Marty sprays! Goes huge! Finding 2 players. The spray transfers. Bit much now to ask for Tsubaki to snag 1 versus 3. We've seen it happen before. But an A side as time ticking. Perhaps the call to save might be here. But not before perhaps she denies a pickoff. But it's gonna be Marty that does that. As NASR, bit rough start. But there's slowly but surely momentum on their side. 2 rounds in a row now.
Outrun out on that retake, a little bit uncoordinated. No possibility to break refrag in that situation. And this Fury goes wild. Like, very, very well played, but they're not swinging far enough to effectively trade each other, right? You have both players basically lining up after their swing, and in that situation, Marty can just spray it down.
She wants to do it again. Rolling Thunder straight into Garage, swinging inside and spraying onto side. A good trade by Jade, but unfortunately for Tsubaki, she's not able to survive.
Jade
Y is here for the very least. She gets 2 already in the bag, moves all the way back to the backside. Despite that tag, she's okay to just move out the way. And she's playing it all over the place. Every single member of NASR already noted and taken down 1 by 1. They fall. And now it's up to Tokumaiti. Yesterday, she put up numbers in the Abyss game. She tried it in Sunset. And today she wants to go for redemption. But 1 versus 3, a bit much perhaps. But doesn't mean that she won't try. Going up forward, she takes the fight in the face and she wins it! What on earth? Yes. Tokumaiti!
Last round before the switch.
What? What did just happen? Toka just spraying them down? O1O out once again. Too unaware. Just... Oh my god, that transfer. That's just huge. I need to stop myself from saying words I shouldn't say on stream.
Oh my god! I'm still speechless! Very impressive this time. You can actually see NASR just regaining a lot of momentum from that and confidence too. How aggressive Marty was, just walk up and just challenge Annie in the front of sight. But they're okay. Slow it down. Take up that space, take a deep breath. They've already had a man advantage here. They can do it again. But Tsubaki this time, look at the concentration of utility in the front of C site. And they want to try and challenge. But she's playing all the way in the backside, hiding right behind that platform.
Careful here.
But
running into that Kidra setup, that's incredibly dangerous.
Perhaps not for Marty. She goes in. Overdrive is here, but look at that tap from Tsubaki. Aggressively shot onto the head. Annihilates Marty. 1 for 1 at the very least, but 6 Sonya juking out all of the Hunter's Furies. Tokumaiti does go down in that skirmish though.
Another team kill.
30 seconds left.
Toka takes out Legacy. And with that, NASR down 2 players. It's gonna be a rough run to take any sort of side control, especially since you don't have an open ult. Nami already potted out. All 4 players onto C side. I'm pretty sure they know where Nami might be.
10 seconds left.
But you need to rush this one onto B and plant. Time is running out for NASR Ignite. The plant's coming through onto C side, but O1O out. They are ready to fight this one out.
Nami on the backside near Gong. Just enough spray. She can't spray this. Everyone is so low. Flashed out here, playing close to the corner. But she sprays from one side. Her teammate has given her so much space to work in. And a tap to the head. 6 Sonya gonna be able to save her team despite the low HP. What a clutch. But NASR, the sprays today from all across the board has been completely terrifying.
It's just aim back, duels back and forth. Incredible aiming performances from both teams. Back and forth. Nami sprays this one down, and in the end, 6 Sonya, tired of losing rounds, just calls game. course it quits. Not again. It all starts with Sasbake. But that duo play from Safia and Nami nearly clutched them around. But Sixonia still in the way. Clearing this one out. That's just, you know, mechanical pros. A supreme display of shooting abilities. From the side of O1O, and that's a similar sight to see in the last few. Gotta say, I don't like that, but you know.
You know, in the beginning of the game, I was questioning a little bit about Sixonia. She was a bit quiet, and you know, we always talked about how Sixonia and Annie is the terrifying duo for O1O. But as time went by, we start to see Sixonia start to warm up. And her aim just slowly gets more and more crisp. And now, with this momentum back in their hands, this could be very scary. But the same could be said about NASR Ignite.
Yeah, both teams are scary aimers. We don't want to shorten this, but NASR Ignite comp, and I'm very curious how they will play it out on defense, because this comp tends to fall more into the attacker style role, especially Neon, an agent that has a lot less agency on the defense than Jet, because Jet has this dash and operator mechanic, which is just incredibly much stronger and safer, especially compared to the Neon. Like, you can play much more aggressive angles with a Jet compared to a Neon, because you can just dash out into safety, while the Neon, yes, has to run out in a way which is much more spammable and much more shootable compared to a Jet dash. Shooting someone out of a Jet dash is nearly impossible, especially compared to that Neon. We see some players do it here and there, but in the end, you know, doesn't really happen. And on the other side, I also think like the Killjoy has more offensive
utility,
offensive say than a Cypher, right? Cypher is more about about holding your flanks, and on the other end, Killjoy has the lockdown, has options to break onto side, while the Cypher has just, you know, hold the side, play lurks. I feel like this 8-4 for O1O is really rough outcome for NASR Ignite after the first half, especially with their comp. Marty plays it aggressively.
Aggressively taking that space onto A main here. She's not afraid to go for the peek, and what's really interesting throughout that skirmish, it's actually O1O that's taken a bit of a hit here. Annie rendered to only 48 HP, and Sixonia with a bit of chip damage. Very aggressive way that NASR plays, but it does fit that comp that they wanted to bring inside, and Luke's he gonna be rewarded for her tenacity, but they check the corners! Look for the trade with Lise, but still a 2-for-2. And this skirmish is not happening on the side itself. O1O, one by one. They're playing together a little bit more as a team, in fact. Ready to trade off each other, ready to play with each other. The other players of NASR understand this, and they retreat onto the site.
I think it's just incredibly smart from O1O. Like, they know what this comp is capable of from the side of NASR. They know that they have to play it aggressively with a Neon, but just waiting them out, just looking for angles to catch players off guard is just incredibly smart compared to just playing a side aggressively and running into probably a setup or something, or into an aggressive trap play. I really like what we are seeing from O1O on that attack. I don't like that NASR is splitting right now. Nami plays it from the main area.
Oh, I think they may have seen where Sapphire is. Unfortunately, she will get knocked down to the backside here. Concussed already playing together, but now with Sapphire a little bit more sharp with her aim. Nami all on her own, trying to go for that defuse.
Half defuse is
no problem. Oh, she's gonna try and stick it actually. Her presence unknown, and she is aggressive with that. Despite the pickoff, it's gonna be NASR that wins this pistol. And they bring it to a 5, one round by one round. They're gonna be trying to take it and try to equalize the score.
Like, I don't know. It was a little bit too much of an aggression play from O1O. Like afterwards, after that frag, Sonya needs to get back on site, right? Like, she needs to fight it right there to find Nami or to just find Nami, because you know she's probably not behind the Cypher, otherwise there would have been a trade. But Sapir just finds the aim on my teammate. Like, I like what we are seeing from O1O, and I actually was dislike to
Marty!
play
Go, go, go.
from
So
NASR.
aggressive. Look at that, Marty. You
Great
can
opener.
really see the aggression, the confidence just shining through how she takes up space, how she is trying to aggress and denying any spot from being taken over by O1O. And they're understanding that their comp does not allow them to play passive. A good play, a good style. And they need to win this round as well to really equalize that score. Even better if they're able to convert this bonus. Safia, there are a lot of question marks from her before, playing very separate from the team. But she has been incredible, not only just putting up numbers, but also making sure that she's able to stop any of those lurks, those flanks, those unwanted pushes. Any of the right click to the face, gonna be able to just get herself a little bit of an upgrade, but not before NASR adds more death counts to the tally. Just waiting out that recon, waiting out the util. NASR! It's gonna be Marty with one shot each with that outlaw.
Not impressed.
Sharp as ever.
Well played by Marty. Now the aggression pays off, right? And those kind of rounds where you're just so much up in terms of money, you can just sit back and rely on your aggression. Marty's aim is crispy clean, like incredible play. Gets both frags with that outlaw. Now it kind of counts. Like, you need to transition that bonus round to equalize things. Otherwise, O1O would be on 9-6, which is not the best of circumstances. Let's see how this one turns out. Important round for NASR, but on the other hand, also important round for O1O to not fall into that 8-8 situation after you made so much work on the first side. Marty has been found. Jademo, nice positioning, and they don't make the mistakes to run with small cheats into an outlaw.
Barely saw that timing with only 10 HP left. She barely survives that. Here's Nami, another Bucky in hand. No sound made at all. Might even be a C push as the utils come forward. Suzbake,
Placing swarm
some
grenade.
lineups coming through here. Just to really clear out those utilities if possible. Smokes out already. It's already given the go-ahead for all the players of NASR that they're going to be hitting the C site especially. Sprays at their backside, gives a little bit more pressure, finds no one in the smokes itself. No stones on site left unturned. Gonna have to be a retake for NASR. The man disadvantage as well. But Jade, rendered quite low now, has to play a little bit more safe. No positions noted at the very least, but they do get at least a little bit of sound cues. Just to give them a little bit of idea where everyone is. Sonya here, sharp as ever. And despite that flash, he still wins out in the end. A lot of sprays. Annie and Devil walking up. And the team shows us a very flawless, clean round 3.
Yeah, that's O1O on full weapons for you, chat. Or looks hard for the side of NASR. Yes, once again, O1O just vibing, just waiting for the aggressive play. Just waiting for the overall aggression from the side of NASR. They need to do it with the Neon, right? You need to push and do an aggressive trap, find those aggressive trap plays. But in the end, not really that much value here for the side
Annie doing what
of
she does
O1O.
best. Aggressive into garage itself. So much space taken already for her team, just denying that.
Here.
Doesn't really prompt the members of NASR to go in for that rotate, but if anything, it's Marty that they have to be careful of. Loves aggressive plays, and she's able to really take heads off even without support. I'm gonna be noting out that Aldrone did spot her. So if they were to double push this, perhaps even with util, Marty could be in trouble, but she does have all things she needs to move out of the way. Fast lane accounted for already, and she skedaddles straight onto A side itself. Not too sure if the team actually got wind that the Cypher is on C site. But once again, the cut-up noise leaves it out question marks for NASR. Are they gonna commit, or are they just playing a ruse game like we did in the previous half? And they might be going in for that skirmish here. A flash to come through. No swings quite yet. And O1O playing this very patiently. Really hoping for Marty to walk up, get the pick off, and just quickly run onto the site itself. 30 seconds to go, time not on their side, but it's enough. They know exactly that it's gonna be an execute onto A site. They put the smokes, they put the flashes straight onto the backside with the splash. Sets it up perfectly for Annie. Unfortunately, it's only good for one. Marty, the biggest sharpshooter, still very much alive and kicking. Able to do so much damage if unaccounted for. The backside is there. Jade taking it out of the way. And unfortunately, the overdrive does nothing. Safia with the sprays. Gonna be okay to find one. But hard ask for Safia in a 1v3. Yes, we've seen Tokomaiti do it. Or Safia over on Heaven. Might be a little bit hard. She has a little bit of time to work with in the bottom side. Finds Jade, but Subsake this time. So excuse me, Sasbake this time. Will they be the one to swing out for that trade?
Swings out in the right timing. I like to play from Odd One Out. Once again, so much patience, waiting for a reaction from NASR, right? Just waiting out the aggression and the potential trap play that they're trying to set up. Like, you have to reach there. You have the Neon there. You just try to fight for the space and find an early aggression frag. So Odd One Out can't really get on site. You can just trade yourself out in those situations. But Odd One Out just smells this one in the water.
I must wait.
Tries to counter the aggression with just waiting it out, with just holding angles and being patient, not showing yourself. I like the noise cancels as well, right? You kind of go into this direction of a side, go to a noise back to a noise cancel. But in the end, will be another try to go for a trap play. Luxi has the stun in hand, but the execute goes through.
Oh, aggressive straight onto the side. Triggered out by Luxi. Still, taking out the Julius would be one big problem out of the way. It's already here. The neural theft taken out here. Tokomaiti gonna quickly find Sasbake, moves out of the way. Shocked out just to buy a little bit more time. Unfortunately, she messes up the other one, and Devil just walks straight out to the side. The tracks come through. Sasbake playing very beautifully with one another, and that's the power of having that breach. That flash gives so much value, especially if you play at the right time. Safia once again finds herself all alone, last man standing, but she's sharp. Goes for one, tries to go for two, and she does! Very sharp. Unfortunately, won't be able to go for the third. Still, quite a lot of damage onto Odd One Out, but Odd One Out, they are completely in the driver's seat.
Yeah, 1v4 just too much to be asked from Safia. That swing from Annie just flicks it into the face of your opponent. Safia, great play, but just not enough in a 1v4 situation. And now we're going into this timeout. Once again, I don't like the timing of it. Like, once you lose that first round on attack side, I feel like you have to put this up, right? You're in a situation where you need to get into a snowball position, and yes, losing out that third round afterwards, normal thing that happens, right? But you need to get into a snowballing position. You need to get input as fast as possible to at least stop your enemy team to get to 12 to get to 12 in an early state. And now we're in a position where Odd One Out has every chip in there on their side. You can just wait for your enemies to do mistakes. On the other side, NASR Ignite needs to be proactive, needs to force plays. And they know how Odd One Out will punish those, right? Odd One Out just waits out to try for an aggressive play and for a proactive play by NASR by just playing reactive. I really like what we are seeing from them, but NASR for sure won't.
NASR with 3 ultimates online here. Give a lot of value. Annie this time around, straight from garage, walking straight onto the site itself. Changed their mind. Perhaps a little bit of a win that's gonna be Safia there, and Safia has been sharp, putting numbers on the line, rolling thunder just really to clear out every single space and hold. A little bit more of passive play, but Safia is there, just deny anyone who dares teleport onto their site. Now, onto the plant already on the site itself. Sasbake very, very close to Safia, finding her out. Information upon information relayed, and Odd One Out very, very aggressive and reactive to this. Marty will be the one to next have been found. Putting down that utility, but Nami reacts to it. Just a little bit of a Sova ult to just buy a little bit more space and time. Swinging out here. Annie is just basically aim trading to her. It's the other day, one by one, peeking the players was not something you want to do.
One by one out of the smoke into the guns of Annie. And O1O just straight up looks like the much better team right now. NASR Ignite, so many huge problems. Especially in coordinating against those lurks. In an opposed situation. You are in even numbers. No, you are like a player ahead. And doesn't manage to coordinate for a post-plan situation. It feels rough for NASR Ignite, what we are seeing right now. It's in an overall sense just... They're all falling apart in solo plays, but Marty!
Great
This time
contact.
she finds an opening.
Marty has been very quick and very aggressive. Gonna be using the aftershock just to clear out anyone who's trying to check again one more time. Sonya finds no one here, pushing a little bit more. You can tell that O1O very vigilant. Understanding that for NASR, it's all about taking up space. It's all about playing a little bit more of the aggressive game.
Watching here.
And no clue where exactly Marty is. She had already repositioned herself all the way onto A long. It's gonna be C site that they want to contend for. Still have another 40 seconds to play with around, so... But they don't have a lot of time if they want to pivot onto A. Clears out the backside with that aftershock one more time. Sonya with that recon. Nami will be accounted for. Played very clearly and cleanly. Takes up that site. And they spray. 2 for 2 here. Completely scrappy as Luxie. One bullet to Jade's head. As Devil a 1v3. And we've seen a lot of these. Straight up spray onto the side itself, but Marty is gonna be denying O1O out for getting the end game.
Yeah, to get to the end game. And it's 12-7. NASR Ignite lives, fights and lives to die another day. Getting another round against those O1O players. And small timeout from O1O coming out. Now they just want to force it out. They just want to, you know, force the round boom with the timeout to just end this map in style and end it in a dominant fashion. Because when NASR starts to snowball, we know what this team can do. They are still a threat to be reckoned with, right? You need to be patient and you need to be mindful of what NASR is able to do, because the phase NASR is showing us right now is a completely different one that we have seen in the last split, especially towards the end. They were one of the best teams in the Game Changers, and suddenly they are falling apart in ways that we haven't seen from them up until now. And I'm not the biggest fan of what I'm seeing from them right now. I hope that even if O1O wins this map, which is more likely than not that they do it, I just hope that we see another phase of NASR Ignite on that next few maps, because that's not the NASR we have all come to love on the scene. They were playing amazing Valorant beforehand, and suddenly, you know, it's gonna be a falling apart situation.
You know, I have seen an 11-1 comeback and 1-11 comeback in Game Changers APAC 2 years ago. We've seen a 3-11 comeback before as well. So as we say, it ain't over until it's over. Regardless, it's still a 5-round deficit. Not impossible for an overtime, but the room for error is incredibly rough, as Marty this time around, she's doing what she does best. Aggression all around, denying that space onto A long. They want to take this fight. All 4 members are all straight into A main. But for O1O, they're not interested in taking this fight. They would rather just run straight into C-side itself. Setting up that attacker Killjoy. The lockdown will be done. And 6 Sonya alongside Suzbake. They're gonna be trying to deny that space into Garage itself. Jade all alone here onto C-Long. They're saying, okay, we hear those footsteps accounted for. It's more likely than not to be a flank. And as a change of pace here, you can see that they're just gonna be taking up space. Playing it a little bit more to the backside. Denying that space. Jade for 1, but Safia, as ever, gonna be extremely rough to deal with. Rolling Thunder accounted for. Devil whipped that spray onto the site itself, and the fuse comes through, and they just stick it. The question marks all around. Why on earth did they do that?
How on earth? Like, pros don't fake, I know, but
They don't fake. But
like
the site, they relinquished control of the area and decided to go for more. Did not realize that NASR, the whole team, was flanking.
But that's like the second time that they abandoned Spike in a way where they're not able to get back to it, right?
I mean,
It's
NASR
like-
did that in the first half too, so...
Watching here.
Yeah, but in the end, it's also like once again, odd one out moves so far away. I like that they are taking space, but you can't just drift off into another corner of the map so the enemies can defuse. Like, it's a little bit of over eagerness from the side of odd one out that you're just taking so much space.
I mean,
That's
personally,
just
for me,
not
I would...
convincing for me.
Yeah, I would personally have maybe 1 to 2 players holding a crossfire on site. And then if you want to take up space, you can go ahead. But there is going to be that line. How much is too much? And Odd One Out just showed us how much is too much here.
Yeah, it's just you're always walking a line, right? In Valorant, it's always about walking lines and testing out your limits. But I feel like Odd One Out is stepping over those lines in ways which I'm not very fond of. And that's maybe the over eagerness of this team to just use
End the
the
game.
superior aim and end it right now. Like, and also, you're not playing together for such a long time, right? Odd One Out swapped out 3 players, the most changes of all of EMEA, from all EMEA teams. And then it's normal that you need some time to gel together as a team. But those are mistakes that are just moving off so far from the fundamentals of the game that this shouldn't happen, you know, at this point in time.
Yeah, and on top of that, they've given 2 rounds already. It felt like the game should have ended last round. The site was theirs. They had full control of the area. And now Economy, if they lose this one, I mean, yes, they have money for days, perhaps, yeah. But their economy is not going to stay like this forever. And NASR, they play well with momentum in their hands. 2 rounds in a row already means that they're going to feel very good about themselves, given the fact that they had quite a significant lead in the half. They go again this time around, just to really deny another round here. Sonya, they'll be using that drone to get onto Seaside itself, and they're not seeing any utility used on the site already. I think for NASR, the game plan here is to play for retakes. And they've had many successful retakes. As the site comes through, they're very, very okay with that plant as well. With Suzbake watching C Long as making sure that no one goes for that flank. Sees that this time is a lot more about being disciplined. Time ticking. All 5 members of NASR still very much alive. Smokes has to deny anyone playing inside of main. But taking quite a bit of time to get onto the site itself. They hear the overdrive come through. Takamaiti gonna find Jade, and she is just aggressive here. Marty just playing and putting her foot on the pedal, rushing out forward, walking through, and Takamaiti just playing off her heels. A clean retake. Water falling onto the site, and they go another round.
Great flood from NASR. They finally found their gas and found a playstyle that works on this map. You basically have 2 options with this team comp. If your aggressive playstyle and space taking doesn't work out in the early parts of a round, then you can always rely on a good retake, especially once you have ultimates in hand. Retakes are always a great option, with especially Neon Breach in the combination. There's another full buy for Odd One Out. Economy doesn't look incredible for them, but 2 full buys should be in the mix. It's the 3 rounds won in a row
Revealing
on the
area.
side of NASR. Odd One Out. What are you able to do? Nice fault line. Pushes off Takamaiti. And on the other side, there's a lot of space taken in middle.
Marty checking every single nook and cranny. His presence already noted, but they have no clue how many. Potential for trades are there, and Sonya very aware of that. Spots one out. Now for Ottawa out, they're saying, okay, we spotted probably potentially 1 or 2 onto B. Can make a beeline onto A side if we wanted to. Smokes all around, and for NASR, they love playing the retake game. Annie straight onto the site itself. Denying all that space information with the smokes itself. Quite a bit of time to play with. 2 shock darts used already just to make sure no one is planting default. A one-way setup for Heaven as well. And sprays all around. Annie playing very closely with her teammates. And she is sharp. She goes for 2, 3, and she has the knives. Going more and more aggressive, and Sixonia will be able to tie the bow neatly to give themselves the first map.
It was a little bit more effort than expected in the end. Like
A lot more labor, for sure.
Losing 3 rounds after being on 12 is not what you want from the side of Odd1Out, but they clear it out in the end and win their first map of the tournament. The new Odd1Out lineup still looks as sharp as ever, and it's a 13-9 for their side. The unsigned team, and goodness sake, please sign someone Odd1Out to win another map. And yeah, with that, Annie, we're seeing such a great play from her. 5 entries, nearly 300 ACS, 22 frags. It's just overall a good performance from Odd1Out. NASR, they just seem to struggle what they were trying to do with their comp, especially on the attack side. Once they got to defense, it was a little bit more clear for them. But
yeah,
Haven doesn't felt like their map, especially on attack. And in the end, it's gonna be a rough one on the next one, because they, in my opinion, need to win it. You can't fall 2-0 to Odd1Out and alternate attacks in that sort of group stage situation if you want to make playoffs and if you want to stay in the league, because you know, in that situation you kind of need to beat G2, and that's gonna be a rough one to pull off. But we will be in a short break, it feels like, or do we have what did my
Let's have a look at the team performance now. Well, looking into the play style coming through, I think it's really great that we're seeing for Ottawa, they have a clear-cut plan in mind. Whenever they go for the execute, it's always as a team. It's very different than what NASR showed us onto, you know, their style of execution. Now, defense, I think we had the same argument about their game yesterday on Abyss. Because on attack, it felt like every single time they try to go for the execute, everything just falls apart. They aren't in sync when it comes to play style. But when it comes to that defense side, right? NASR is able to play individually. They didn't have to play together. They didn't have to really play by the book if they wanted to. And Marty was able to just take up space and play as aggressively as she wanted. Safia as well. But for Odd1Out, because they're able to trade off each other, play aggressively, and set Annie up for success, the smokes, the recons, Annie was able to pull this off. A 22 bomb that game with a 47.1 headshot percentage rate.
Yeah, in the end, 47% headshot rate, absolutely insane from the side of Annie, and Odd1Out just real great performance. It's just such a different outlook on that team still from the last split, but they are managed to get their first map victory in the whole series, and it will be a little dire situation for NASR Ignite, because in my opinion they have to win that next map. There is no way around it and no way to give you a more beautiful image for the NASR fans out there, because if they lose this one 2-0 to Odd1Out, it will be a rough situation for them, in which they need to beat G2 and Carmine Corp, in my opinion, or at least one of those two teams. No, they need to beat both actually, because they lost for attacks and that one out there, and they play each other. They still need to play each other. So rough situation coming up for NASR. If they lose this matchup, we will see if they manage to pull through after a short break, and afterwards we will be back for map number 2. Have a good one, fam, and grab something to drink and some popcorn. See ya in a minute.
One enemy remaining. One enemy remaining. One enemy. One enemy remaining. One
And with all of that said, welcome back to the VCT Game Changers EMEA broadcast. My name is Akamask, and next to me is the amazing Tashmani. And we are back, odd one out, on the brink of pushing NASR in a situation where no team wants to be. Because the relegation battle might be decided on that next map. We talked as much about it in the standings, and while talking about it, NASR, if they lose this one, they basically have to win against G2 and Carmine Corp to secure their spot in the playoffs. But we're in the now and then here, because they need to go on Ascent. It's gonna be a really, really rough one for them, because odd one out seemed to be the fundamentally better team in that last map.
Yeah, they looked really, really clean, but granted, that was odd one out's map pick here. Now, for Ascent, I really do hope that NASR has a game plan in mind, because yesterday on Sunset, on their map pick, it felt like they were a little bit lost here, and they have to go to a map 3 onto Sunset itself. While I am a big believer of a team that makes mistakes first will be the team to make, I think, to learn the most, especially since they had played Sunset last night and had some time to really figure out where their mistakes are, they're gonna have to go through Ascent first. Now, coming into this one, we have seen some Cypher locks played on this map as well. I think everyone's talked about that from VCT all the way till Tier 2 and Game Changers, and the same could be said. We've seen that happen a lot already. But this time around, yep, we're gonna be seeing a Cypher lock here. It's gonna be NASR Ignite pulling that, while odd one out is gonna be going for a more standardized comp. Now, for me personally, for NASR Ignite, that sort of type of play is where you really, really want to be able to do well on the defense side. As for odd one out, I like the fact that this standard comp is a standard comp for a reason. That KO gives you so much value in terms of information, in terms of disabling any setups, as well as the flash as well.
Yeah, it gives you just so much, you know, initiating power, as the name of the road suggests, right? And especially against the Cypher lock comp, things might look a little bit different. Might look a little bit different, but you need to spot out the Killjoy and the Cypher. And we had the gameplay of Valiant a few days ago, where they also played Cypher lock, and they basically switched up the agent and the position on the map, right? So
Yeah.
you had the agent setup on B side and the agent on A side, so the KO knife couldn't spot the agent out, and they always had to run into a setup and clear it, even if they spot the sentinel that is on the stations on site. So in the end, it will be a rough feat to pull off on that attacker side for NASR Ignite. You basically need 9 to 10 rounds, it feels like, on the on your own defensive side. And in the end, it will be, as someone in chat suggested, annoying to play against this team comp once we are coming to the side switch. But for now, NASR Ignite is on the defense, and they need to get rounds. They need to win, especially the pistol round, in my opinion.
Cypher lock comp gives you a lot of value where you don't really have to worry about mains as much. But also, it's gonna be a lot of contention to mid area itself. Lineups all around already, just denying that spot into trees. Sprays from inside Suzbake. She is making sure that she is the guardian of the site itself, and she's good for 2 alongside her teammate Jade. One by one, they all fall. Safia, unfortunately, her timing not quite there, and she's not able to get onto the site, just blocked off by her
30
own
seconds
teammates. Util. It's all about just waiting out either to go down to a teammate. She can perhaps go in for some extra kills if she wants to take up some space, but with 4 eyes staring right at her, that is a terrifying sight to behold.
And 1 versus 5 is just too much to be asked from the Sentinel player of NASR Ignite. Great team play by Sparker and Jade Moore. You shall not pass, no one gets on site. And with that round is over in flawless fashion. Also, the buy feels very, very strong from odd one out. A Bulldog, a Judge, and also that mighty Outlaw of Annie. On the other side, NASR actually buys nothing. And I feel like that's the 100% correct call.
Oh my god. This is
Oh, the
aggressive
Judge.
and Judge in hand, and she just goes crazy with it. Alongside with Devil. Goes for that reload timing on her side. Able to just be getting those pickoffs one by one. NASR barely even set foot onto A main. Zafia here just lurking onto the mid-side area. Position unfortunately will be known here. A little bit of a skirmish on mid-side before Suzbake shuts her down. But Marty, so very low at 30 HP. Tall has to ask her to try and clutch this. the whole minute to play with on each other. A three-way hold, and Annie
Aw, thought you'd
gonna
try
make a little
harder.
bit of use from that outlaw.
I like the buy, the non-buy from NASR Ignite, because last game they had a huge problem on the enemy's bonus round with that outlaw.
Down A.
How they go for a non-buy so they can just theoretically all buy full shields to avoid the outlaw randomly becoming an operator. Not quite deciding to do that. Luxi and Toka both on a small shield, and this might be a problem once again, because Annie on that outlaw, that's a sight to see, and the pain that this weapon can inflict, we already have seen it.
Sonya is actually on that outlaw.
The
In
bulldog.
fact, yeah, Annie is gonna be like on their side. Jade one more time, aggressive as ever, but Suzbake all the way from Heaven's side, playing off her teammate. You know exactly where Marty is, walking one by one straight into so much utility. Suzbake says, A side is my domain. Heard the TP, noted for it. Suzbake solo, knows exactly where they are. Dash already set online, but will she get the value is the question. So separated for her teammate. Jump peeks here, Devil gonna spot her out. As Safia once again lost, not sure where to go. Perhaps the call to save that Vandal is here.
Safia will save this one, and I must say, you know, as incredible as Jade Moore is, every time I see a shotgun play like this, something in my body just horribly hurts, and it's most of the time it's my heart or my brain.
Can you just point it out, like where exactly it
Okay.
hurts here? Like,
I
is it
don't
your
know.
head or your heart
It's everything at once. Because the pain of running into a shotgun and dying is, you know, immaculate. I
Yeah.
have to, indescribable.
10
I don't have,
seconds left.
and yeah, they play around it incredibly. You know, we don't have to talk about it, right? But it's, you know, it's incredibly well played. But you know, shotgun gameplay, right?
It's so good on that second round by, and now, fortunately, the bonus will have been converted here. But you can see that how she plays these areas. Just now was with that one-way smoke. She moves back and plays together with Suzbake onto Haven, into Heaven, in case someone decides to just swing out and just take her out. And that is the power of friendship, honestly.
Yeah, the power of friendship. Timeouts coming through right now. And
What do you
I'm
think?
intrigued what NASR Ignite
Yeah,
is
I
picking
know. I
up.
saw your eyes sort of like you were wondering, you were thinking, and I'm just curious what's on your mind here.
Yeah, I don't know if this time. I think this timeout is too early, right? That's
A bit too early,
little
honestly.
bit
I was
what
just
I'm
waiting
asking.
maybe round 5
Yeah.
perhaps, but I'm wondering if they're trying to figure out what exactly they want to execute, how exactly they want to execute with the Cypher Lock. Yes, it's a very strong comp on the defensive side, but on attack, what is the game plan here? Because what they've been doing is having Safia play mid, and then altogether they play as a 4 running up onto A main. And you do have that setup for Luxi throwing it into 3, but then what?
Yeah, I'm just like NASR obviously needs to have a game plan coming into this, right? There's obviously when you play Cypher Lock, you know that you're gonna lose out attacker-sided rounds because your comp is just so CT-sided. It's okay to be like 9-3 on attack. Like those comebacks are 100% possible. Like I'm not really sure what they're trying to aim for here. The timeout probably needed in a way that you need to refocus on your game plan because something is going really wrong right now in your overall planning. And it's not like the first map where the first few rounds where something is going wrong, but the overall series, right?
Yeah.
In the overall series, your game planning and either it's your strat book overall or it's just the game planning that's coming through is going wrong in a way. So I'm just curious what they are trying to do now on the depth now. It's a little bit more of a chill approach. Pretty much incredibly slow compared to what we have seen before from them.
Feels like Annie, or at least Odd1O, has had that outlaw for so long now. Trying to get some form of value from it. Is Vake gonna at least be just traded out here? Not traded out, sorry. Will be just set up for success. But Marty and Safia will be the one to run away with 2. Bit of an upgrade here, but Annie, a menace as ever. Outlaw in hand. We can see the value that comes through here from the sheriffs at the very least.
Planted.
Gets a spike down, and finally, they break into the defenses set up by Odd1O. It's all about just getting that hold very, very well. Annie is here. Despite her low HP, she still peeks out first. Playing so closely with her teammates. With the flash, no one peeks out. Gets no value. Sixonia sprays through from heaven. Gonna find someone. It's gonna be Safia. Take it out there on hell. So go YT. Gonna be using the utility, and Annie just quick to punish anyone that dares peek out here. Marty, all alone from main. Goes in for the sprays. Good for 1 and 3 in the bag. NASR not able to hold that round. And Odd1O showing us why exactly they reign supreme on this map, at least on defense for now.
30 seconds left.
It's a good, really good start from Odd1O. Like I already said, they kinda need to get 9 to 10 rounds on that defensive half to be comfortable on your attack. Because playing into Cypherlock, you will always struggle in breaking those sides and breaking those sieges. In breaking those defensives. Like, in overall sense, NASR 3 kills overall over the course of 4 rounds. It's just pure dominance from Odd1O at this point.
A lot of aggression from Suzbake coming onto the side itself. Suzbake barely missing the Deadlock ultimate. Moves out of the way. Unfortunately, her drum grenade will be destroyed. Annie is here, at the very least. Holding strong to see if anyone dares push past that smoke. And NASR, realizing their limitations, decides, okay, that's a lot of noise we've done, a lot of utility we've baited out. Can go out our merry way. Now, I'm really hoping for NASR Ignite to really take this fights on mid, perhaps. Go for the skirmishes. They can go in for these 1v1s if they want to. They have insane aim. But it's just really unfortunate in the last few rounds that Safia wasn't able to get those pickoffs that she wanted on mid side. Despite the fact that they had pushed all the way up to Pizza. Not deciding to go up all the way onto B side. Instead, pushed into tree is what they want to go for. The players of Odd1O has not rotated at all. Every time they've set foot into a spot, fragment, a nano swarm. But to their benefit, this is a good
30
thing.
seconds left.
Time not on their side. They're gonna have to make a decision soon. It's gonna be straight onto the B side itself. Luxi running straight onto the area. They have not cleared the backside. It's 2 onto Boathouse. Paranoia inside. They can go for some crossfires. Suzbake just waiting for the right time, but Luxi a little bit more sharp. Sixonia will be taken out, and Luxi, excuse me, good for 2. Gets down the plant. And for Odd1O, it's a 3-man retake. And with an op, might be a little bit hard. Swapping to the sheriff. She can be very, very sharp with that. A lot of pressure coming in from backside from the smokes itself. Trying to find the right angle of congestion as Annie and Devil does find it in the end. Took a mighty. Just holding on the side all alone. Gonna be playing with Safia. They know exactly where Annie is. Up in hand. Perhaps the call to save might be that. She doesn't want to. She wants to try and challenge. 23 HP. No shots in sight. 1 bullet in the barrel. What can you do? Changes it up, but it's a bit too late. As NASR, first point on the board. A little slow to cook, but they get it in the end.
They find it in the end. Nice try by Annie. Operator now in the hands of Marty. It's an interesting call for me. Because Odd1O outplayed very, very side-centric up until now. Doesn't peek too aggressively. And it doesn't really look like something's gonna change from their side.
Placing swarm grenade.
A knife will come out. Walking off a bit. Much more aggressive approach from Odd1O.
Got a lot of value from this aggression as well, if you think about it. B main, A main, they've done it before. And with that recon, she puts in the value, only chip damage, but Devil gonna be happy with the pickoff onto Luxi. Numbers advantage here for Odd1O. Made a lot of noise. Created a lot of utility. Sixonia, no more shark dots to play with. But it doesn't really matter when you have teammates like Devil, who's just ready. Just take off their heads alongside Annie. One by one, the members of NASR go down. Tale as all it's time for this team. They haven't been able to find themselves these successful duels in these defaults. A call to save perhaps might be what they want to do. Not a lot of cash in the bag.
How about like going for that save? Probably still the play.
30 seconds left.
Round number 5 by Odd One Out. It's going all into the ways of the unsigned team. Odd One Out.
Unfortunate. If you think about it. Yeah.
Unfortunate for NASR in the end. Because if they lose this, it's gonna be so hard.
10 seconds left.
The rest of the season basically on the line
My camera is this.
for the MENA lineup. Zafia will just hold the side. And Odd One Out. Round number 5 secured. Another save. NASR Ignite. They will be able to pull by once again. Even though a Guardian is maybe in play. Still full buying is the call.
O1O now has 3 ultimates online right now.
Placing swarm
Can
grenade.
play for retakes if they want to. They can play denying sight. The null command will give a lot of value. Especially to players like Luxi and Tokamite, just to deny them that information. On the flip side, Marty, just one more offer utility. Perhaps getting those blades could kind of dwindle down the numbers. And she wants to do just that. Walking down catwalk.
Slowly but surely. Creeping closer to into catwalk.
Swarm grenade out.
Swarm set up already just to deny any movement coming onto the site itself, and they break all the defensive setup here by the Killjoy. But you have the counterplay, lockdown initiated. Marty, play a little bit more close onto Heaven. She wants to take these duels, she wants to take these fights, finds nothing. And she will be hiding straight under Hell. Seen something similarly played in VCT before, where Boo was able to just really play and hide and no one checks him. He's able to go for 3 in his fight during VCT. But this is a different story to tell. No follow-up quite yet. Zafia walking up
Cage trigger.
straight, finding out Sexonia. That's massive. The big gun taken offline. But 30 seconds to go. They have to go a little bit more aggressive. They have to be a bit more proactive at putting down that spike, and that's exactly what they do. Annie waiting for their teammates, waiting for the smokes to dissipate. Spike goes down. They have all the time in the world. But it's all about patience here when it comes to O1O. Understanding that power lies in numbers. One-way setup just to deny them that space. But Annie, only a classic in hand, making sure to play a little bit more close, but will be found by Zafia. Very aggressive play, and NASR, when given the right tools, they bring it to the end. It looked terrifying for them, but once they get the plant, once they get the site, they hold it in their hands.
NASR, once they're on site, they're basically unbeatable. Especially with that comp, you're basically playing defense, getting around those post-plan scenarios. Impossible for Odd One Out. And even with all the ultimates invested, it's still a NASR win. Still 3 rounds behind. The wiggle room isn't great for that NASR Ignite lineup. I'm pretty sure Odd One Out has an idea on how to play against that Cypherlock comp. Annie with the operator also doesn't find that much of success anymore. The spray comes through to that wall, but no damage found, no kill found for Sixonia just yet.
A lot of damage though onto Tokamite.
Deploying drone.
Still, drone gonna go up. Not spot anyone out quite yet. Pretty sure they'd find 2 in the end. Doesn't really prompt a rotation, but it does make Sonya a little bit more aggressive with that Odin. Regardless, they're okay to play with time. And NASR has been great with just exploding onto site, taking up that space, especially as the clock hits around that 30-second mark. Dashes onto side self. Marty ignores every single utility and she's undeterred. But Suzbake, she loves playing aggressive. Gets one with the ult itself, but Suzbake is here to play on aggressive. Good for 2. But they still get the sights all into their hands. Despite that, it's still gonna be a man advantage for NASR. They get that plant. But auto one out. A lot of question marks here on how exactly they want to play for this retake. Nami, sharp as ever. And Annie playing retake with the up. That's a huge ask.
Yeah, so
One-way
that's
setup.
Huge ask to play this one on retake with the operator. No real point of aggression right here. Has a Vandal in hand, but is it enough to re-clear the space and get the spike? Damage has been done. Sophia takes that frag and NASR back on track. It's just way too hard to get something out of those both lane situations for Odd One Out.
Spike planted.
Once the site has been taken, there's no way back for NASR Ignite. The setups are coming through, and now Odd One Out is taking a timeout, and I think that's pretty much needed. Those last 4 rounds will decide your fate on that defensive side. You kinda need to make some wiggle room for yourself.
And on top of that, the comp for NASR Ignite just does favor the defensive side. They cannot give more rounds to this team. And that's just been terrifying. I mean, Odd One Out, yes, they're a little bit more slow on that rotation. They're not sure where exactly, and they don't really want to rotate and play together. But the problem is, NASR has really good game plans for that post-plant. So the only way to really just counter them is by playing a little bit more aggressive, and they've been able to. Not sure what happened with that change in pace. On top of that, now NASR with Marty, with blade in hand, and also with from the shadows for Nami. They can go wherever they want. They can play as aggressively if they want to as well. And now Odd One Out with no ults in hand as well. Look at that. Yes, the team has guns for days here, but only half shields.
Only half shields in hand, but shouldn't be too bad. Considering there's no outlaw on the other side. Chris play with the operator. Tries to find some damage. Some mix-ups now for Odd One Out. More aggression, but I need to pull back. Revealing arrow, and Marty finally finds an opening. Side has been taken.
2 sides coming through, and he does go for 1. Pops 1 hit. Can she go for 2 is the question. Plays out forward. She's very ready for that. Fortunately for her, will go down. Marty, she's feeling herself, taking up so much space with no regard. Despite their efforts to play a little bit more aggressive onto this B site, the utility set up by NASR has denied them of that opportunity. Excuse me. Only a judge in hand here. Will go for that change, perhaps, if she can. And she does. From the shadows used, knows exactly where she is. Now she gets a Vandal. Setting up those smokes, needs to isolate these plays. No idea where these players from NASR has been set up here. One by one, they come through. They play close. Marty is just quick on it. Jade, good for 1. But can she go for 2? This double swing could prove fatal. And it is just planted for her here. No clue. Where does she look? It's going to be stairs. It's going to be lane. But Marty takes fate into her own hands and rushes up forward with 4K in the bag. Marty, she's feeling it. Another point for NASR. And 1 by 1, they take these rounds. And NASR says, we are just collecting these rounds in the bag for us to just kind of just steamroll it on the defensive side.
Yeah, and over time, the wiggle room gets smaller. For Odd One Out, they kinda need to start winning, and especially win those next 3 rounds. Like 8-4 is the minimum amount of rounds that you need to have, especially considering Ascent is a CT-sided map anyways, and you're playing against Cypherlock. Like, you kinda need to start winning rounds. 8-4, the minimum you should get, but not really seeing that with the guns they have in hand. Yes, Game Changer Sheriff exists, but realistically, NASR should take that round. Playing it a little bit more defensive. Execute has been late for basically the entirety of the second half of that map. Nami starts things up, opens things up with a frag against Annie.
Going huge, going massive. Aggression will be punished, and that's exactly what NASR does. Entire map is their oyster, so aware of the positioning of the players of Odd One Out. Devil playing all alone here. Her position unaccounted for, but Marty is quick to trade. Wants to go a little bit more aggressive. Here's the jumps coming in from Jade Moi. You do get that plant, and he only has lost one. A 2-on-4 going to be very hard. Safia, quick. She is sharp. Nowhere is safe with a sentinel like Safia on your team.
And with that, NASR actually equalizes. Like,
Placing alarm bomb.
it's gonna be rough for Odd One Out
Placing sentry.
right now, realizing that 7 and 5 is the best you can get. And I mean, NASR winning attack would be crazy with that comp. Like, yes, the post plans are amazing, but you don't have a great option to get on site.
Over there.
And it's basically picking Odd One Out apart of their out of their positions. That's mainly the thing why they are winning rounds right now, because they find Odd One Out in weird situations where they are not aware of oncoming doom.
NASR is not afraid to take up that space. The way they execute onto B site, market is taken, main is taken, and it crunches the members of Odd One Out onto the site itself and isolates them from each other, just ruining any kind of set plays and setups they have in mind. Luxie? Bit of an idea that it's gonna be a little bit more aggressive onto that B side. They say, okay, this time around, let's go into A. No clue that they have setups onto tree itself. This is where Susbake has been playing, and how many times in the beginning has Susbake denied them that area onto A side itself. And they're not scared, breaks up every single utility, but it does buy a little bit of time, that Nano Swarm. Breaking the camera, Annie is here. Sees that op, finds Marty, and that's one area of contention taken out of the way.
Sound sensor up.
But I have to worry about that post plant now. That's the power of the Cypher lock.
30 seconds.
The post plants is going to be hell of annoying to deal with. Guns ringing so loudly, but no one is getting chipped at all. Tokomaiti is here, her teammates are ready to trade. Door in contention as well to worry about. And they decide to play very, very close to one another. At the very least, they try and go, just taking a little bit of damage there. Decide to go straight into hell. They spray all around. Tokomaiti and Nami, good for one each, but it's always Susbake. Susbake for two. She goes aggressive, but will be taken out. Safia still holding very, very sharp, and it's all down to one. But does it really matter? Once again, Safia, the savior for the team. The site is her playground, and you have to get past her as the last final boss.
Like, I don't want to cast those curses. And I don't want to be, you know, I will be mean in chat for this if it doesn't happen, but I feel like this game is more than likely over for an Odd One Out. Like, they need to make an incredible offensive performance.
Clip it and ship it.
Yeah, you know, it's okay. I'm very, very goated in casters cursing, but, you know, if they don't make a far stretch on the attack side, this one is gonna be over sooner rather than later, because I don't see a world where Odd One Out just wins at the attack side against that comp, especially after they're showing on the defense on that map thus far. Their retakes look poised.
I mean, when you have players like Marty, who's so adept, they have been doing a great job of baiting out so much utility for Odd One Out. And then when the silence hits, when they realize there's no more utility, they go on aggressive, and Marty is just completely free to pop heads. And Safia, with those lurks, finds out so much space just to deny any of those rotations. They've done a great job of isolating the Odd One Out players. Once again, Luxie putting the same thing over and over again onto Tree, hoping to just bait that rotation, and it does. It brings a majority of players onto A site, but the call is for B. Jade, gonna be playing inside of the smokes. They've got quite some value with that judge.
30 seconds left.
But for NASR, it's not been a problem for them to come in from mid side. Either from Pizza, either from Tree, and Susbake, she sniffs it out. Despite the fact that she's been smoked out here, unfortunately, she's not able to do anything to stop those rotations. Puts in a bit of damage to Safiya, but she does get one. No, she doesn't. It's actually Marty that's good for two. Playing down very, very safely. Will be paranoid, moves out of the way, but Tokomaiti from one end, as well as Jade Moi, one each. Sasbake not able to take control of Tree. Safiya, once again, showing us why she is one of the Sentinels to be feared. Jade Moi's position has been compromised. They know exactly where she is. Jump peeks all around with only 4 bullets goes for that reload. All eyes on her. They know exactly where she is. A crossfire to come through, and time perhaps not on her side, but doesn't really matter when the whole roster of NASR is feeling themselves right now.
Switching sides.
They're feeling themselves a lot. And 7 on 5 at halftime. Like I don't want to sound too negative onto Odd1O, and I don't really want to doubt them, but I kind of have to, right? Like, their overall team comp is just... Like, NASR's team comp is made for defense. They won 6 in a round on offense. I don't see Odd1O recover from this that hard much, right? Yes, NASR needs to play it still good, right? They need to execute their comp in a good manner, and the KO might be hard to deal with. But if they manage to deal with this one, it's gonna be a good option for them. And the defense should be stale in the end. It's rough.
Shadows traveling.
Nami with the one-way setting it up. Immediately as they know the positions, immediately that wall goes down. Yes, they can break it. Positions will be noted. But NASR doesn't seem deterred at all. They're understanding that they can leave Safiya solo anchoring that B side if they want to. Mid is completely in the control of Tokomaiti. Yes, the option for Odd1O to play on mid side can be something they can play with. But getting onto the side itself, the amount of trips, the amount of walls, the amount of utility on that B side. Very, very terrifying stuff.
You can't really get into this one, right? At that moment, if you start a push onto that B side, you will be trapped. You will just die off at this utility. The KO knife knock comes through. Tracks 1 or 2 players. Same goes for the Sovadat, but they're so hesitant to go inside because they're not aware of the wires of the setup. Marty and Nami just spamming through triple kill, but Nami already just from the heavens down to slay Odd1O, but Jade Moi is back. All on her own right now. Doctor's coming through, but no damage out right now. Jade Moi has been put low, but it's still a 1v2 situation. So rough to play for the Omen of Odd1O. Needs to peek into 2 people, needs to isolate it in some way, but this might not really be possible.
Cover going out.
No, the fuse just started yet. But can Jade Moi do it? Safiya closed it out in the end, and Odd1O also loses the pistol round.
It is over.
That hesitance just really costed them, honestly. They have no clue. They could not decipher where exactly the setups are. And because of that, yes, it was really set up for Annie to come onto the site and just get those pickups. But what they did not expect was having Nami and Marty playing together in tandem on the site itself. They could not figure out where exactly they can step, where exactly they can go.
Listening.
Looking so good, and NASR is just really proving to us why exactly this is their map pick. The Cypher Lock, why they have chosen this comp is not because this is something that they want to do well on the defensive side. They have a game plan in mind for the attacking side itself. Tokomaiti this time, an Ares in hand. That's a buy that we rarely see, but she's okay to play with this one. A little bit of chip damage onto Annie, but nothing much here. But we start to see a force, or rather, these buys onto Odd1O. Can see half shields all around as well, and they want to try and challenge this. If they don't win this round, it's gonna spell doom and gloom for that team. Spraying around, trying to make sure if they can find any of the setups here. Breaks one ship at the very least, and Safiya, unfortunately forced out of her position. She's undeterred. She's okay to put in that pressure, just spray into those smokes, but Marty will be the one to find that head of Annie. Takes her down. Very, very wise to know what she has for this round.
Camera taken out.
And it's an important one for the side of Odd1Out. If you manage to clear this one out, yes, you force bought into this one.
30
Safia
seconds left.
finally finds the damage. Jademore does it as well, trading herself out.
Player standing.
But it's still rough for her. Jademore with a triple kill. Once again, the hero of Odd1Out. But Nami has the right timing, swings around Jen, and ends the run for Odd1Out. Round number 9 for NASR Ignite. 7 in a row. No, 8 in a row already. And this one is so hard. Such a hard pill to swallow for the side of Odd1Out. You had to use the force buy. And if Jademore pops out of there, there might be the possibility that she still clears it up.
This goes here.
But now it's another force buy. It needs to be another force buy for Odd1Out, or the acceptance that you are probably 5 rounds behind and NASR is already on 10.
Not worse this time around. Odd1Out, a different gameplay in mind. Straight to it market changes their mind when they spot out the members playing onto the site itself. I have an idea here. Can't push more than pizza. Smoke dissipates though and they cut the noise. Like it or not, Odd1Out needs to dwindle down the numbers, get those perfect headshots. Perhaps isolate NASR from being able to play off each other. But for NASR, even if they did get isolated, it's all about that gunplay. Every single member is sharp. Safia able to pop 2 heads at once if she wants to. Doesn't even need to play with her utility. Marty, very adept with that outlaw. All eyes were on Annie, but Marty is showing us today that she has came here today to play. NASR, not a team to be underestimated. Knife comes out here as Takamighty. His position will be noted. Walking straight on the site, they do break that trip. But despite that, getting onto the site will be one of the first obstacles they have to deal with. Marty gonna be taking them out one by one. The gun disparity could be much, but Suzbake is sharp as ever. The sprays to come through. Safia good for 1, 2 before taken down by Suzbake. But the players of NASR happy to get onto the site itself one by one. They fall. Sheriffs or not, it's gonna be NASR to go to 10.
And it's not even a real retake that they are playing, right? It's just in the moment where Odd1Out tries to flood the site, everyone of NASR is there to hold it. Just running then shooting them down. Huge problem for Odd1Out to even get in a position to plant the spike, to even get in a position to win rounds. And at this point, with NASR in double digits, it's gonna be even more rough. 7 and 5 at halftime with that sort of team comp is such a weird, wild and rough situation.
Catwalk will be their choice this time. Market did not work, perhaps Tree. Tried it before, unfortunately it didn't really work out in their favor, but this time around they have the better guns. What's flashed out here? Finds nothing. Set to back out. Marty walks up straight, puts in the damage, but not enough to take her down. But still, Sonya down to only 10 HP. And Marty has been very, very confident. Very happy to walk down mid. Very happy to contest this area. Odd1Out. They have no clue where to look, where to play. Which area has a player, which area has a setup. It's been bringing not only question marks, but also bringing a lot of hesitance. And once again, they do the same thing. Straight up to the side. They know where exactly the trips are. Unfortunately, Safia quick on that reaction. Her playground, her rules. And Suzbake did not obey. Jade here for the tap, only good for 1. Traded out by Luxi. Very quick on that. But the players of NASR, they feel good and they are sharp as ever. Despite the guns, despite everything, momentum straight in their hands. The Cypher lock comp looks great on them, whether on attack, whether on defense.
Yeah, everywhere at once, and NASR just with such a great performance on that map thus far. Odd1Out takes another timeout, but I'm not sure if this will swing anything into their sides. They need to full buy it right now. They need to force one more round. And afterwards, NASR on 12 on match point to bring it to map 3. And it would be so important for that organization. NASR Ignite. What can they do? And yeah, no, the question should be odd one out. What can they do? Are they able to bring it back in any way? Are they able, with that time, a sort of timeout, to structure their offense more inside into the real objective? I don't know. Odd one out. They seem so hesitant. Struggled so much with breaking the defense of NASR Ignite.
This is a very, very quiet game for Sixonia. Not able to play off her utility, not able to enable Annie at all. From bad to worse. And we had some doubts in the Agent Select about this comp. What can they offer on the attack side? But as casters, very, very happy to have been proven wrong, and Marty with the hop. Gonna completely disable Annie here. Annie, all eyes have been on her, especially on these attack sides for this game. We had those questions on what they can bring to this map. Why choose Ascent? A map that everyone is very adept to.
Look at Outrun Out Spy. They are playing for round number 12. Like, they want to go into overtime. Only taking out the Sheriffs. No force buys in place. And now the push will go onto the B side.
Without Annie, it's gonna be a lot harder to get onto the site itself, but can play together. Luxie. Position noted. Our teammates are there at least. Close by, just hoovering. Recon, destroyed. They slowly take up that space. Marty knows exactly where Jade Moi is. An inch slower, or slowly, onto the site itself, putting a lot of pressure, but Luxie's okay for those sprays.
30 seconds left.
Sonya goes down, Marty with the shorty. Timing not her side, finally will be taken down, but Nami and Safia 1 each for that trade.
Okay, they're dead.
Clean
Take what's useful.
from these 3 players. Every player traded out. Back and forth, and odd one out. It almost seems like their morale is completely low. And NASR, match point with 4 ultimates online.
Player standing.
All the high impact ultimates online.
Okay, they're dead.
Every possibility up and running for NASR Ignite. They're taking a timeout. They really want that map. They need it. To be pretty and brutally honest, they need to take that map home. There is no ifs, there is no whats. They need to take it home right here, right now. That timeout might be the right call, but I feel like it's more of a dwindling down.
In this situation, what can you do? You're down so many rounds in a row. Yes, we talk about how their morale might be low. It's a game of mental this time. What can you do when you're this many rounds in a row? When the other team is on match point with a comp that's made for defense. You've tried every single strat possible. They've come in from tree, they've come in for market. And the problem is, NASR, they're okay to dictate this game. The momentum, the tempo. Understanding that this comp brings value, the more your sentinels are hidden away in the backside.
Yes, as much as we already said, the probably most high impact ultimate in Deadlocks is available for NASR Ignite. Aggressive play coming through from odd one out, but Nami's positioning too good. She keeps to be unchecked. Deadlock ultimate comes through as well. So Sparky can be freed, but Marty is there right in time. Sixonia can trade her out. And it comes down to Sixonia and Sparky. Are they ready to play this one out? Are they ready to find the angles for the win?
Oh, that's a lot of damage onto Sixonia.
Got chunked solo. Shock darts coming through as well, but no hit.
Spike planted.
So also no kill, changes up the weapon. You need to be standing for that Odin to come through, and with that, that's the round. NASR Ignite takes it 13-5. Their first map win comes right here, right now. We're going to map number 3 and NASR ignites hopes and dreams to stay in main event. They are still here and they are still alive and kicking.
Defenders win.
Odd one out had no clue how to deal with that Cypher Lock comp. A lot of question marks for them, and this is exactly a lot of doubts coming in from the desk itself, from us in fact, about what they can do with this comp. And they show us more than just the defense side. They showed us what they can bring on the attack side itself, taking it away, rough in the beginning, but they show us what they can do with it. Very, very strong win. Very, very convincing coming in here from NASR Ignite, showing us that they are not completely out of the game quite yet, and they bring us to a map 3. Now, Sunset might be a whole different story, but for now, let's have a recap about what we saw just now. Yes, Uzbake was there, disallowing NASR Ignite from getting onto the B side, sorry, the A side. But NASR had other games in mind, understanding that mid is completely something that they can fight for. They can go in from main itself and just crunching the members of O1O on the side of B and just denying them from being able to play with each other. In fact, Safia was the reason, I would say, one of the biggest reasons why this team was able to go far this map, because she's able to play way off site, stop any rotations and lurks, and how many times has she been able to do so? And once that momentum was in their hands, Marty came online and the rest is history.
Yeah, you already talked about Safia. Also, only dying 5 times is something that's incredibly important for the side of NASR. Got the spike down every time, and that's normally the problem of that team comp, right? You can't really get on site without the carry, without a real initiating presence. You basically only have the flash to somehow get towards the side, and in the end, if Safia just way too strong. 88% cast for a Sentinel is also crazy, to be pretty honest. Just played incredibly well onto that on that Cypher. Setups were clean and crisp, and I think that's a whole different story from NASR than we have seen up until now. Like, that attack series wasn't really played well, and we are going on Sunset, where, in my opinion, NASR yesterday didn't look too hot. Like, I gotta admit it, attacks were like, Sunset is an attacks map, to be honest, and I don't know really why NASR picked it, but now as a decider, I'm still a little bit afraid if they can pull it off and if they're able to win here on that map. In the end, let's see how it turns out. We have one more small information for you guys. It saddens me a bit because I wanted that series to happen so bad, but it will happen tomorrow because we have to push the series of today. Giant X versus Falcons on the day tomorrow. There are some server issues, it seems, and because of that, some players can't play. And to keep our competitive integrity, the series will be moved to tomorrow at 5 p.m. So same time as this series started today. I hope you're not too busy tomorrow because there's more game changers to be played then. But sadly, we have to move that series. Like, competitive integrity is like the highest thing in the whole competition, and it's the right decision. It's the right decision if players can't play, to just move this one to another day, especially if the circumstances are out of their control.
Regardless, we are going to go to map 3. Sunset is on the line right now. Whether or not NASR can't bring it home is the question, but O1O is also fighting for that spot. So unfortunately, I'm not too sure. Are we going for a break yet, production? Yes, we are. So we'll see you in a little while for Sunset. NASR ignites as well as O1O.
remaining.
Area is clear.
Player standing. Last player standing.
Caught one.
Hostile.
Enemy remaining.
A lot of doubts just now for the Cypherlock comp, but NASR show us exactly what they had in mind with that play on the set. But now we're going to a map 3 here, where NASR versus O1O. These two teams fighting to stay out of getting relegated into contenders.
Yeah, fighting to move out of the relegation battle. NASR and O1O are up for the challenge. Map number 3, it's gotta be Sunset, and things are looking not too good for NASR because they had a really bad series against alternate attacks. Really bad map into the series against alternate attacks on that map. I'm like not the biggest fan of Sunset for them.
All right, let's talk a little
But-
bit more about this, about what happened last night. For you guys who didn't watch yesterday, 13-5 was the score for the loss of NASR Ignite against alternate attacks. So what do you think went wrong, Akamas?
I think it's more of a thing of mid-round calling. Alternate attacks have very strong voices in their comms, especially like they have the IGA Blossy, who is incredibly and has 100% trust of her team. But on the other hand, they have Jade, who's also incredibly vocal, always gives good mid-round comms for her team, and that's something that helps them a lot, especially in close call situations where it's needed that someone, you know, is patient, has the patience overall, and Jade is someone who does that in a really good way. On the other side, there's also a Jade does similar things, to be fair. So I think NASR needs to make a step up in shot calling overall, because that was kind of the problem of what went wrong on that last map. But let's see how it turns out. It's always a rough thing to talk to from the outside, right? You know, it's still a rough outlook for the outside, but and that's the most important part. If you lose this one on the side of NASR, yes, it's still possible that you avoid relegation, but winning against K-Corp and G2 is a rough feat to pull off. O1O has more wiggle room, even if they lose that series, because if we are realistic from the just on paper conditions of the teams, the relegation battle we fought in between O1O and alternate attacks. But now NASR seems to struggle a little bit too much, and losing against two direct rivals in that battle is something that is rough. So they kind of need to pull it off here.
Yeah, speaking of pulling it off, let's see what the agents or what the lineup is going to be for this map. And this is going to be a very exciting one. If you go back to O1O, the last time they played this map was all the way back in June. It's been quite a while since they played this. And it's going to be very exciting to see what NASR Ignite learned from their match yesterday. It looked very rough, but again, momentum definitely on that side, especially after that landslide win on Ascent.
Yeah, especially after that, it's, you know, a landslide win on their side. I think yes, momentum is on their side, but I don't know how they have recovered from that attack series yesterday. Like, I really did not like their Sunset, to be pretty fair.
Right. I mean, to be fair, again, NASR had played less of this map. They've only played 2 recently for this map as well. So I think it's a lot of question marks as well for O1O. Like, how have they changed the way they play for this map? But the same could be said about NASR as well from last night. Regardless, as we go into this game, ladies and gentlemen, now is the time that you need to put your eyes on the screen, because this map determines who will be headed to relegation and who will be headed to playoffs very soon. NASR Ignite, O1O. I am very excited for this one.
I mean, it will not determine it right away, but it brings one team in a certainly better position than the other one, considering the rest of the opponents, especially for NASR Ignite. Sunset, a map very much happening around that mid side. You don't really feel you don't really want to give up too much mid control. Side retakes are always a possibility that are very much on our hands.
It's a very quick one by Annie.
Very aggressive.
Yep. Straight into elbow onto A side itself. Loving the fact that we're going to be seeing a head-to-head against Marty as well as Annie on that Neon. As it's going to be an opener by Tokomaiti. Straight up traded out by Suzbake. Now, the players of NASR, they want to go for this flank. And they do. Immediately just breaks that trip. No hesitation. They have a game plan in mind. Sonya, only good for one. Safia, good for that trade. Safia, always strong, always sharp, but the same could be said about these two. Duelist as Uzbake shows as the duel that she could be winning against her counterpart. Luxie left all alone here, quite low, but Uzbake just gonna easily clean up house, and it's gonna be a very convincing pistol for O1O.
Yeah, as you already said, very convincing pistol round for Odd One Out. The early aggression paid off hugely. As we see right here, Saxonia, early frags to Sparker.
Enemy re-
Also gets in on the action, and with those early frags falling down, the side has been Odd One Out for the taking.
Oh, this
And
is
the lead starts right now. It starts with pistols. And Odd One Out in a good position to convert this into the 2-0, especially as we look at the buy they're having. It's gonna be a big one. Only one pistol in hand. Rest is even bigger guns, aggression. They want to center this one around mid. No fighting
Alrighty,
around the
waiting.
sides themselves.
All 5 straight up onto mid, but it's gonna be Sazbaka. He's hanging on the mid side, making some noise onto market. Jade Ma clears out Nami. No smokes to be played, and they make a beeline straight onto A side. The position
There.
has for Tokomaiti had already been noted earlier, I suppose.
They found
But
them.
here we are, Sazbaka showing us that mid side will be her playground as quickly as they take the site. They clear out every single nook, cranny, and corner as Jade Moa good for another one or two, in fact, in the bag. It's all about just finding that last final player, Marty. It's all just down to Sazbaka. Shot to the head, and they clean out. Nice, flawless.
Nice flawless round from the side of Odd One Out. They played it out perfectly. I really like the patience of Sazbaka.
That goes there.
Not running up to side, just staying behind the middle. And with that,
Yes, this should be.
you know, clearing out one player that falls down. No real chance to get around back afterwards. And Odd One Out, are they able to convert this one as well? We saw a lot of converted bonus rounds throughout that whole map up until now. Flash is coming out, fast lane as well. And Odd One Out seems that they want to make it fast again.
Putting a lot of pressure here. Sazbaka as well as their teammates going aggressive. Gun disparity or not, they have the strength in numbers here. But see that just now. Tokomaita, timing not really on her side. Maybe she can be a little bit more aggressive here. Yes, she does. Saxonia caught with her owl drone out. Position's been noted. They can play together. It's still a 3-on-2. Not impossible. We've seen multi-frags on multi-frags by Safia. And she slowly but surely is trying to equalize as she does. Tokomaiti, all alone. Annie, slowly marking her. Has an idea where she is. Jane Wong goes up. She sprays downwards. Annie good for
enemy
one.
remaining.
A good trade. She's so very low. Safia! And Annie, even as low or as high as she was, is still a clean headshot. A+ for her.
A+ for her. Annie closed it out once again. But Sazbaka, the real carry right now. 7 frags in 3 rounds. Odd One Out
The neural
just.
theft online too.
Spike planted.
Odd One Out just in dominant fashion. Yes, the oversight from Saxonia, not the cleanest,
One-
but still such an amazing play from Odd One Out. The kind of misfits of this Game Changers EMEA main event. Still an unsigned team. Just running for more victories. Winning round number 4. It's always a little bit cursed, especially against those stingers. Might be harder than expected.
It is a very scary grind, I do agree with you.
Go, go, go!
Fast lane straight onto site. This clears out the area of the corner just in case anyone will be lurking around. Check it, finds nothing. Saxonia putting a little bit more pressure onto market itself. Shock dart just to buy some time. Saw that Aldrin breaks it. No swing outs from NASR. Annie all the way onto Boba. Takes that space. Sazbaka will be noted and accounted for. Nami will be able to find her. But Saxonia this time around is quiet and done with having quiet games. Jane Wall goes down here. Saxonia trades her out. Gonna be quickly trying to play from main. They go down one by one. Still, despite that very aggressive take here, it's gonna be Nami with that flank. Goes in for a perfect spray. Annie trades. Annie's so quick on that. But unfortunately for her, Nami is just a better shooter. And she, with the skin of her teeth, takes the round.
11 HP and a dream, and it's the cursed round number 4. Odd One Out.
Thirsty.
Loses out this one, and Nami. I mean, it took her incredibly long to get that first frag, but converts it in the end with a great aim battle again against Annie.
Thanks.
So Sparke need to quite carry on that team.
This goes here.
Really gotta give it to NASR. They love these lurks. They love and have a lot of confidence in themselves to be able to take these fights. Having the fact that everyone's eyes are on sight, they hope to be able to just backstab. Safia loves doing that, and the same could be said from her teammates. But this time around, Safia looking to play a more aggressive style onto main. Breaks the cam, takes a peek. She wants to try and challenge. But all eyes on Suzbaka. Hasn't moved
They
quite
follow
yet.
wire.
Very quiet, breaks that wire as well, so Safia knows there's a lot of noise happening. But the movement is all toward A. Could possibly be a ruse. See a one-way setup already by Nami. Here's the Aldrin, immediately throws that blind. A position still, fortunately, will be found. Moves in Annie quick to play off her teammates. And Nami says, that's fine, I'm okay to give up space here, but on the side itself, you're gonna have to deal with 3 of us. But still, Jade Wakas slowly making it into the site itself. Sprays, but no damage. They want to try and contend. All bodies move toward A site 4. In fact, there, they set up the site, they set up the smokes, they clear out the corners with that aftershock. Finds nothing. Unfortunately for her, Luxie will be sharper, but will be traded out. 1 for 1. Every single member all around just falling the dominance for both teams. Rolling Thunder will be used as Safia, sharper one end, finds Jade. Devil, Ali, fully in her control, wants to try and go aggressive. Marty's lurks was not accounted for. As NASR, they challenge back, and this was the style play they wanted to play last night.
NASR takes control back over that map. Economy still fine-ish on the side of Odd One Out. But it starts to crumble slowly but surely. Great play from Marty especially. It's that last frag. It's the last buy that Odd One Out can strap together, but 4 ultimates in hand. That has to be an expensive round. It's important that they win this one. Just to stabilize their economy, and Annie finds an opening! Double kill for her already! The aggression doesn't pay out!
She was so sharp for that, disrespecting that neon slide! But here comes Nami flanking in toward mid, full control of mid-side area. Suzbake knocked down already. It's gonna be a lot harder to watch their flanks. Not too sure if they're gonna account for that. As 2 of their members come up forward. Your timing is right, they would be able to get a frag here if they want to. But Jade is already on A side. They know exactly that they have full control of the area. Devil, eyes on the backside for a moment there. Sixonia is there to just peek out. Spots the foot of Nami, moves out of the way here, gets paranoia. She has to play very, very close. Unfortunately, she goes down. Not too sure if Annie knows, and she plays very, very well with that flash. Still 1 more player to work with. Annie has been sharp, and she wants more. 1 more tap for that ace. Takamaiti's position has not been seen quite yet, but she is in the right direction. But Jade will be the one to take it away. Possibly the comms, Jade. Come on now. Come on now.
I wanna hear that voice comms.
The face comms are always very fun to listen to, aren't they?
Like, anyone won't be happy about this one, but in the end, the round win goes over towards Odd One Out.
Annie was locked
time.
in just now. Let's be real here. Like, she was hella locked in. Sharp as heck. It was just insane head taps. Gross.
You're not sliding into my main area. And up until now, last buy for the side of NASR. Same situation as Odd One Out found themselves in, and it's an aggressive play by Marty, but the trade works. Level with a frag, so Sparker falls down. That's fine. It's okay. You just lose your Sentinel. Should be really, really fine.
It's 2 ultimates just now, right? Takamaiti's and Marty's. A bit surprised that Toka decided to use the Hunter's Fury that early, honestly, but I suppose that was a combo that they wanted to play with. Regardless, coming in through mid-side here. Ottawa not left, wondering where exactly they want to go to. They still have Annie, just to play that tip of the spear.
Here.
Shock dart just to clear top mid. They've pinged it already, finds no one. Annie pre-firing all around, hoping to catch someone in that axe, finds nothing. Flashes. And they quickly just go straight into the B side itself. Complete disrespect of any utility that Safia puts down. And that's the outcome of it. Sixonia goes down and she just plays straight inside the smokes. Nami, very nasty on that. Jade, at least, gets a little bit of a consolation prize. Slowly but surely dwindling down the numbers. Annie still playing close inside of market. Knows exactly one player there.
Annie?
Finds Luxi. Good for that isolate, but Takamaita is there for that trade. Jade is here all alone. 3 HP left. A big ass, but a headshot is all she needs for that round win.
Jade, are you kidding me? Finds the triple kill with 3 HP on her bar left. But Jade was simply too good. Everything starts
Left.
with that round beginning, and we're here in a situation where it's basically just gone. Pour out one out. Annie, amazing frag, and then Jade more. Are you kidding me? Perfect timing on that swing. Perfect timing on anything she does right here, right now. And NASR right back on the back foot. Eco round again. And Sasbake with all the disrespect in the books, all the confidence right here. Just aims off top mid, gets the frag
is
there.
disgusting.
A second one as well.
Trades all around on mid side. It is a bloodbath. Despite that, is a 3-2 trade in favor of Odd One Out. Making their way onto A side here. Still the other two members of NASR. A good read has an idea that it might be an A hit here. Man advantage, but you can rely on Nami to just dwindle down the numbers. The knife will spot them out. They know exactly where they are, setting up those smokes, being quick to get onto the site itself. Paranoia used as well, but no swing outs. But Annie, she wants to push, she wants to go a little bit more aggressive. Luxi good for one, straight to the head, and she swings out, sprays for one more. A triple swing and a triple peek. Sorry, double peek, excuse me, by Annie. That is the name of the game. And Annie, she feels confident today. She is locked in.
Locked in, describes everything Annie does. And up until now, similar side of NASR than yesterday. They basically look the same. I don't know. It feels Sunset doesn't feel like their map.
What do you think has been the biggest struggle that NASR is having right now?
In many situations, it's just that Odd One Out overruns them and has more synergy. Like NASR trying to set up an elbow play with 3 players, just running into a paranoia of Jade more where Annie can swing. And also, like, Annie has a great pop-off performance. 12-4 in 8 rounds. Just amazing gameplay from her side. But for me, it's mainly about, you know, Odd One Out playing better as a team and playing better as a composition compared to NASR that are not getting a grip on that match, even though they're trying everything on the book. Like, they're mix-upping their speeds, they're mix-upping a lot of plays.
Oh, this
Like,
is a nice
mid-round calling isn't necessarily the issue. It's just that Odd One Out aims incredibly and plays as a team with their utility a tad better
goes here.
than NASR.
That goes there.
Perhaps that was exactly what they needed. Still doing the same thing. Odd One Out rushes up forward. Unfortunately, not able to follow up. But this time around, NASR was ready. And they take that fight straight to the face and come up on top. Yes, they lose Luxi in that. But they still, a 2-for-1 trade. Advantage is in their favor in form of players. And Jade this time around wants to punish any stragglers who dare to play a little bit more aggressive. Cutting noise. Odd One Out. No idea where to go quite yet, hoping Sasbake could catch anyone in those flank acts. But no one has been a little bit more sold by the idea that they have left this area. Marty is still
I
holding
know
stronger than
exactly
ever, knows exactly where they are, and the neural theft will give them at least a little bit of an idea where to go. They leave the site, they know that they have that advantage. They come up forward, they know where Nami is. Fast lane just to buy a bit more time. A jump forward, a jump shot forward, and Marty is here inside of the smoke. Plays up forward, Nami is here, clears Tsubake, and Nami for 2-3 in fact. An A site completely in her jurisdiction.
Yeah, that side belongs to Nami, but it all starts with Marty. Incredible play. Wins that out, and for the first time, it feels like NASR is playing as a team together. They are playing as one unit to stop that aggressive approaches from the side of O1O.
Oh, this is a nice spot.
Aside from their struggles with team play, it feels like the KO isn't the right pick for them. Like, I understand what they were going for, but Nami, what an aggressive opener. Finds Annie. The MVP is dead. What can O1O do without her?
Still got the site though, and Safia playing closely, but Jade is there to just protect her teammate. Power friendship to protect you from the Cypher. Something that they only can do. Aftershock on one end just to buy a little bit more space and time, and Tokumaita. Her positioning hasn't been accounted for yet. She can play a little bit more aggressive. She can be the kingmaker if she wants to just really change the tides of the game. Suddenly the site slips away from the grip of O1O. Hunter's Fury will be used. Devil to find one, but Tokumaita gonna find one in return. Devil playing closely. Backside will be there. Sprays out. Goes down to Nami. Sharp as ever. But we do have those shock darts, unfortunately. A little bit too off the mark. So 6 Sonya will walk away with the consolation kill.
At least damaging the economy of NASR Ignite. Not letting them stabilize it. Next round, if they lose it, might be another eco.
This goes here.
But it's overall just... It's a kind of similar problem as O1O had on that first map, right? Where they planted the spike and afterwards doesn't find options to just hold it. And playing too far of it, or losing the players next to it. Like, a lot of problems, similarly to those on map number 1. Are they able to fix it in time? Still 2 rounds in the lead, but not really what you want after a 5-1 start. A lot of mid control has been established everywhere else on the map. Base has been given over.
Oh, this is very aggressive by NASR. They go for the peak. They go and try and fight this. Not happening. Forced to disengage because of that paranoia. O1O, they're happy. They took complete control of mid all the way to top. And they know exactly where to look. Nice crossfire set here. Buy some time with that aftershock as well. And Annie wants to go for this swing. Tokumaiti for 2. That's a beautiful spray, but Annie is here for 2 of her own. Looks so great the way they get onto the site itself. Holds that corner, holds that backside. Spike retrieved, waiting for the right time, just quickly break onto the site. And NASR, the name of the game is to explode.
Down B.
Played this corner to perfection, Nami. The catch is Stray Sova there. 6 Sonya goes down. Annie, despite that utility, not afraid to play closely in that corner. Okay to spot out Marty, but time slowly dwindling, not on their side. Marty is here. She walks up, and NASR truly has learned from last night. Pocketing another round and challenging O1O. Slowly but surely looking to equalize.
Yeah, they're challenging O1O, trying to push them to their maximum.
One enemy remaining.
So many problems that suddenly starts to rear their ugly heads for the side of O1O. You have the Rolling Thunder to get on site. There is an ultimate for the taking. Last round of the half, and you know, in the end, you just want to have the lead on your side at least.
Annie this
From
time around.
1-5 going down to 5-6 is wild, to be fair.
I mean, it's a great conversion of their timeout just now. It felt like as soon as that timeout ended, they had questioned themselves. We can shoot. We are aggressive. Why don't we take their aggression and just take it to stride? That's exactly what they've been doing.
I'm out of here.
The trip will be taken note of, and Annie just swings straight onto the site itself. Everyone just completely disrespecting every single one of Safia's utility. She tries to answer back, and Marty is here with an overdraft, taking up that space. Hunter's Fury, Rolling Thunder, everything in chaos, and Marty will find Tsubaki on the side, all of them lonesome. Nami will find two. One by one, the players of O1O fall like dominoes, and 6 Sonya left to fend off for herself. If she can isolate these fights, it will be massive. She knows where the spike is. She has it in her hands. But does she have any idea? Finds Marty. Takes note of that. I think she does have a
30
quick idea
seconds
that it's
left.
gonna be someone playing close here. Tokamaichi. Wise not to swing her. Despite that though, with only 20 seconds to go, she cannot rotate. The door is closed and she holds. Tokamaichi is saying, okay, I'm gonna play off the sound of that plant. It would be the best idea here. No clue if she had left the site. And she does. Moves in straight toward Boba, finds no one. Timing has to be on her side. It feels just that. A nail biter every single time. It feels like they're about to walk into each other. Timing does not go their way. But for Tokamaichi, she says yes, it does.
And Tokamaichi in the end gets it. All comes down to timing. And that was better on the side of Tokamaichi.
Switching sides.
What a rough set of events for O1O. They were in the driver's seat, trying to bring them down. But NASR now with the neon and the incredibly performance from Nami. I can't overstate how great Nami is playing right now on this map. 17 frags, 12 rounds. Even out-fragging the MVP of O1O, Annie. We've talked about her so much. She and 6 Sonya, the 2 stays on that team.
One big problem they've been having is dealing with those flanks. Yes, they do have Tsubaki on the flank, but every time the trip breaks, they have all eyes on the backside.
I'm out of here.
NASR has been doing such a great job of enabling their teammates to make sure that they're so preoccupied in the back. Fortunately, this time Tsubaki will be able to buy some time clearing out the backside itself, but Jade hasn't moved quite yet, all alone here in elbow. Spots 2. Bit of a dink onto Nami, not enough to take her down. Quick rotations this time around by O1O. Cage is here, will be splashed, and
What?
she can't see anything. She's spot 2. No one had checked her out at all, and this time around she's all alone. And despite the fact that she's alone and holding all this area, she did so much damage onto NASR Ignite.
No, that can't happen. You can't tell me that Jademore gets 3? Like, Tash, you can't tell me that they're not checking that corner.
And she was flashed as well. It was so long that she had held down that corner.
Remaining.
Tsubaki, gonna fight Tokamaichi. It's all about finding the last final member. Luxie, good for 1. But gonna be so hard. Despite that flash, she still gets it in the end.
Luxie?
1 by 1, been isolated. They'll get the defuse. What on earth is happening? That should not have happened from both sides.
So much in this round shouldn't have happened. I'm speechless. There's like Jademore is in full. Yeah, Jademore is full flashed in elbow, and for 4 seconds they are not checking that specific corner. Right? Like, stuff happens sometimes, and afterwards, Luxie just has to carry play of
She
her
was
life,
full flash.
where Jay. I have no words for this. Marty, aggressive play there, playing it with 5 stingers, but Devil finds a friend, finds another frag. Opening has been done, double kill already for her. Damage has been found. O1O is just running over NASR at this point. Again, with another lead, 6 Sonya is there as well. Triple kill for Devil, and that's just incredible side hold from O1O. It was a force by idea for NASR Ignite, but they will fall short, and this will be route number 9 for Odd1Out, more likely than not.
Must have been a heartbreaker that first round there.
One enemy
Full
remaining.
control of sight, strength in numbers. Very quick round for the anti-eco for Odd1Out.
There.
Might be a bit more quiet. We've seen those game changer sheriffs as you mentioned. Marty, Nami, as well as Safia. 3 of those players who are more than able to just pop heads. I think Odd1Out very, very aware, playing close together here with Suzbake and Devilaksa playing in the backside. Safia, very privy, very patient, holding on to Tal's side. Slowly but surely they make it up on top, but Jade is there. She plays the same corner that she did earlier. Maybe a jump peek, maybe an idea. Smokes are out, a nice little one-way. She's noted the footsteps and she goes for the sprays. Good for 1, can she go for 2? She's trying, she tries to go for more!
Strike down A.
Tsukumaiti is there to trade to just top her down, but Suzbake somewhere toward B side managed to get a frag of her own. Safia rendered so low. A lot of damage done by Jade here. Elbow, B main. You do not want to challenge her. You do get an upgrade at the very least. Has a bit of an idea. Utils all around. Thrown straight onto the members of NASR. Gives a little bit of space for Odd1Out to play a little bit more aggressively. Devilaksa's positioning has been noted. The teammate not quite so. They can hold together. Nice little crossfire to come through if they were to just swing. And it's all about those taps. And Odd1Out goes up to 9.
Odd1Out gears up again. Third round in a row, falling into their pockets. Great play by Jade Moore. If she gets kill number 3 right there, I'm pretty sure she might be able to get out as well. But the headshot not enough because the shield's in play.
This goes here.
Jade Moore just a tad too strong right now for NASR Ignite.
Oh, this is a
And
nice
it's
spot.
4 more rounds for Odd1Out. 4 more rounds
Go, go, go!
to clear the series. Or Jade Moore's
Meanwhile, this
positioning
time-
needs to get out.
Well, this time changing up her positioning, no longer on A, this time on B. A good read, an idea. There might be a change in pace and insight. This time around, Nami plays in toward mid-area, tries to break any utility left around by Suzbake onto mid-area. Finds nothing though. But Luxi will be sharp. Sixonia will be the victim of that headshot. And without Sixonia, it's going to be a little bit more harder to figure out where exactly the position will be coming from, but Safia will be here all alone. Not too sure she had noted the positioning here. From the smokes, they go for those pushes. Makes a beeline straight onto A side. Jet Ma is here alongside Suzbake already. You just go for a nice crossfire if anything were to happen. Luxi sharper than ever. Suzbake is here, tap to the head, good for 1. Marty is there for that trade. Rendered quite low though. Cannot move out of the way here. Annie slowly but surely making her way onto that site.
There.
Still no plant.
30 seconds left.
No plant quite yet, and Marty goes down and falls. 30 seconds to go, and they're stuck.
There.
Where to go, where to fight. They know that they're elbow, but are they aware there's someone into the area of
Last
CT?
player standing.
Tokumaiti quick on that, poke to the head, nice one popped. They can go for the isolate, can't do more than that. Safia is there. And NASR says you can't run away this far. Not after that loss, and we have too much on the line.
Too much on the line for NASR Ignite.
Yes, this should do.
They need to, like, NASR losing this, we talked about this a lot, would make their path into playoffs so much harder. Would kick them even more into the relegation battle. One out on the other hand. Same situation, other opponents coming up. They still have it in their own hands.
Gotta
And
go!
they play attacks on Friday. Again, B-side aggression. It's interesting how those two teams play around the map. Odd1Out had a lot of pressure towards mid, especially towards the end of the last round. On the other end, NASR Ignite. Very, very side focused, especially towards A, especially towards B. Especially B main space is so high valued by that NASR Ignite lineup.
Aldron used already by Sixonia from A side finds nothing. No clue where to go, but she hasn't moved quite yet. O1O out very patient. That recon, they won't break it. They're just gonna hide away from it.
Here.
But it does note one player a bit too slow. Timing not on their side. Question is whether or not they're gonna try to fight it. It's not Jade in this quarter this time. It's Sixonia. She's having some quiet games this time. But nonetheless, she's been giving some impact frags, and it's very, very terrifying. But Tokomaiti will be the one to flush her out with that Hunter's Fury. She can't run anywhere at all. Luxie going on for that plant, Rolling Thunder. Gonna deny that. Annie rushes straight onto the side, but Martin is a little bit more sharp here. Overdrive now online with that pickoff here, and she rushes up forward. Gonna find one, gonna find two. In fact, damage is done, and NASR Ignite shows us what happens when they're fully hot and ignited.
NASR Ignite doesn't want to give up that easily. Just running all over O1O out in that round. The timeout needs to come through. O1O out. Just struggling to find a grip in that round. Simers for the last one. At some points, they started struggling, converting their round, and NASR gets better and better in the halves. Sonya alone on A. Not the best of our positionings. Gets caught out by the Hunter's Fury. In the end, Nami 20 frags still on top of the scoreboard. There's such amazing Valorant for her team.
It's a lot of things on their mind. I mean, how exactly can they fully utilize this neural theft from Susbaka? Then 2 more points off for Annie and Sixonia. And unfortunately for Annie, she hasn't been getting that value that she wanted off the overdrive. And Sixonia, once again, today has been very quiet for her. It's just really unfortunate because she's been the player that's been getting tagged as those first kills, those first bloods. Yes, she has her teammates to really trade her out. But we have players like Nami who is this sharp. Players like Safia who just lurked toward mid-side. Yes, it's a bit more of a quiet game for Safia as well. But Safia's impact toward the mid-side area just to deny those rotations have been impeccable. Wonder what exactly is the idea as Jade Walk pushes up forward, gets caught with a knife in her hand as Marty will be the opener.
I know exactly where.
They've really conditioned O1O to think that NASR will be kind of prodding and poking between 2 different areas of the map, but this time around, it's very decisive. Luxie here, catching 2 players on the tiles area themselves, one by one. O1O getting defaulted and picked up.
Remaining.
And it's hard. Susbaka left all alone here.
Hey, and you
Plan's
said
already
it's
done. It's 1v4.
It's just defaulting by NASR. So like Jade Mo
Cage triggered.
pushing that up is it's I don't know. I don't really understand that play from Jade Mo. Like,
I mean, she's had value
she-
from that push before. She's done it before.
Yeah.
She's managed to got 3, but that was with her paranoia out. That was with a one-way setup. Not too sure why there was a drive peek forward. And Marty gonna get another one. Susbaka goes down. No call for the save. 9-9.
yeah, but she pushes out with knife in hand, without like hearing the A aggression, and not without hearing the B aggression. Like she does that play on moments where NASR plays full B aggression, but that A space is just taken by NASR without any problems. And yes, you kind of want to sandwich from tiles and aim and B main, but it doesn't really work out. Like, you can't do such a play without the information where NASR is positioned, and it's high risk. It might be high risk, considered high risk, high reward.
My ult's ready.
But in this case, Jade Mo just looks not the most in the most bad. You know, does not look in the best position.
Sometimes mental comes into this play with the idea that you have to make something happen. You have to make that hero play. But now with sheriffs in hand, we've seen these thrifties come through so many times. Gotta play aggressive toward the mid-side area here. Tunnel right to here. Good to tap 1 away, and she will be met with another 4. Susbaka good for 1, but Nami tap, tap, and tap. She gets 4. Clean and fast, and they go aggressive. And on top of that, a neural theft used. They didn't even need it.
Just clean by
all
Nami.
around. This is momentum And this is confidence. This is the NASR Ignite that we know and love.
And it's just clean shots by Nami. I thought nobody checks, like nobody looks at Nami. There must be a call that Nami is in tiles. And the moment where Jademore falls there, like it feels like the comms are stopping on the side of O1O, and that's not good. Like, that's a frag that shouldn't happen that way. Because once you call Nami's positioning, people need to turn towards tiles. Like, I don't really understand how this is not happening in that situation, and it feels like the communication of O1O is dwindling down slowly but surely as NASR Ignite makes an insane comeback right here and right now.
That turnaround, or rather the conversion from that timeout, has given them so much value. It comes down to that identity, knowing that they can shoot, knowing that as a team, they can be the one with the better aim. Straight onto the site, here's his Vaca suppressed. They know exactly where she is, forced out of the way, but Devil is there for the backup. Playing closely together, but they will go for that trade. Any patient as ever sees those heads and pops it. Still, it's gonna be 1 by 1. The player of NASR goes down. Great adaptation here coming in for O1O as she sprays and disrespects the utility. And O1O, they bring the momentum back in their hands forcibly, and they want to equalize.
Important round just to not get into another eco round, back into another eco round. And also, if NASR is on those 11 points and O1O in the next eco round, it would be a rough situation. Nami, I can't overstate how good she is playing right now. Positioning is perfect, but it's just that battle. Nami versus Annie currently. And Annie wins out this round.
Yes, this should do. This goes here.
Seeing
rough
pings
play.
all around.
It's quite interesting how both teams are trying to play that map. No more real mix-ups by NASR. And they're just now starting to explore that middle area, right? It's the first time that there's really pressure towards market from middle.
RT this time walking up mid.
Moving off again.
Yeah, moving off again. They're just trying to see if they can catch any stragglers, any pushes. I mean, they've been getting a little bit of value before. But O1O, they're not really changing the way they play. Mid has just not been their area of contention. This time around, Jade playing a little bit more safe, playing together with her teammates here. Annie will be the one to swing, but they feign nothing. NASR very wise to these sort of plays, understanding that what's happened before is likely to happen again. And for that security, putting that trip there, Safia is just gonna hold. And she's one of those players who is very patient. She won't move, still as a rock. Lots of noise coming toward the mid side, which manages to pull off a lot or majority of the players from O1O toward B site. Walking straight into market. Luxie. Gonna note that trip coming up forward here. Sonia will be smoked off, sprays all around. A little bit more pressure than usual. Stunned, moves out of the way, forced to give away that area. Devil coming here, Sasuke as well as the rest of O1O will be taken down. Beautiful setup there by Nami. Jademore, unfortunately, good for one. Clean tap. But positioning, unfortunately, will have been noted. Back and forth between these two teams. Both don't want to go down.
Both, you said as much. Both don't want to go down. Both teams in an important position. But what can NASR do?
Yes, this should do.
Can they really close it out
I'm out
against
here.
O1O? Again, once again, Marty, aggressive push into elbow. Gun in hand, and it's only a half pipe.
Oh,
O1O, but
that's sharp.
Sparke is there, has the aim, and finds another head. The game changer Sheriff is there once again. Tokamite. Did you fight a 1v1 versus Annie? Not good enough for it, not good enough for that. Spike plant needs to be in that smoke. Not enough space for that, and NASR will fight into CT.
Sonya is here, will be flash, plays very, very closely with the sprays. Unfortunately, Luxi ready for her, for anything that were to happen. Unfortunately, will be stopped as well. Jade Wall goes down. Luxi, sharp. Usually, Luxi will be the more quiet one, focusing more on those frags, focusing more on those calls. But this time around, she's the one shooting. 4 in the bag already, and he finds Nami. Still could potentially be an ace for this IGL. But time, not her side. Safia is here. Nice cross from the other end. Annie does find Luxi. Gets the pick off. 4 in the bag, but not getting that win. A heartbreaker as NASR hits match point. 2 points behind, not impossible. But NASR, they look so clean. They look so decisive.
I gotta say, Luxi, the quiet hero of that map. In the moments where it matters most, Luxi is there and just runs all over NASR. When it matters most, your IGL will frag out, and Luxi, second on the scoreboard, right behind Nami, does exactly that. It mattered, and when it does, there is Luxi to win again. To win against this one.
Looking a lot stronger for NASR on attack side. They know exactly how to play this game. They know exactly how to bait the other members of Odd One out to play on both sides. And it's so hard because NASR, all they've been doing is just conditioning. Maybe pretend that they are going to just prod onto B side. They make a beeline onto A. Have someone holding mid side areas, stop those rotations. And then suddenly just go aggressive and just explode onto the side itself. NASR, Ignite. Their name, Ignite, is very, very in tandem of what they bring on this map itself.
One last full buy. 4 out, 1 out. They need to win it to keep themselves in the game. Match point for NASR, 1 of 2 that they will get. They want to convert it right here, right now. It's once again the B aggression. We saw that early on in that series. That NASR really likes their B spot. Cypher trips, not positioned towards main. Knife comes through, finds the Sparker. No one way is possible. Reveal in the backside, and now also the flood. Marty instantly pops the double kill in an incredible setup by Luxi. Once again, when it matters most, Luxi is there to set up the plays or make it happen. Make it happen herself. What an insane pop flash by the IGL. And with that, Marty opens up again. 2 more left, 4 out, 1 out. Only Annie and Jade more.
In the backside here, Marty is sharp as ever. She tries to go for the ace. Denied! But Takamaita will be the one to end it with a bang. We had doubts about NASR Ignite yesterday. A lot of question marks about how they play. But today, they bring it back and show us that a bad day does not mean a bad team.
NASR
and they take down Odd One Out.
NASR just silenced all the doubters in one. Incredible gameplay and incredible comeback. Like the mental that you need in those kind of situations where you know, if we lose this one here, then it's gonna be dire situation for us in groups. We are 0-2, have only our G2 and Carmine Corp game left to win, and might be in the right now in the relegation race. Would be so rough, and the mental fortitude to fight it out in this situation and to actually win is amazing. After falling down 1-5 on that last map, I'm incredibly impressed by NASR for doing this, and it's rough for Odd One Out, to be honest, because they're 0-2 now. They have their end game against alternate attacks on Friday. If they lose this one, I feel if I'm not wrong, this might be relegation for sure if they don't win against G2 on the last match day. No, it will be because they lost to NASR. So if they lose to attacks on Friday, basically they are last place in their group. So Odd One Out's positioning even worse right here and right now. They have the chance against attacks. They have it in their own hands, but it's gonna be a hard feat to pull off. And in the end, NASR Ignite, just what a game, and this frees up so much for them.
This is a very interesting predicament coming up forward, and once again, I will iterate what I said. Team that has made the most mistakes is the team that has learned. And NASR definitely learned a lot from their loss last night on Sunset. The MVP this time for NASR will be Nami. And we're so used to seeing Safia out there. It's refreshing to see that NASR, they have their sharpshooters all over and around the board this time around here. Nami is the one that took control of the entire map. Nami is the one that is holding the mid-side area alongside Safia when push comes to shove. Yes, Marty will be the one to explode onto the site itself, but despite the fact that Nami is the MVP, you really gotta give it to Luxi, the ones that's doing the calls, the player that is setting it up for Marty and the rest of the team to be able to play as explosively as they do. Regardless, let's have a look at the MVP here for NASR one more time for this winner, and it's going to fall into. Can I have a drum roll? It's gonna be Nami, and we're gonna be seeing a head-to-head against Annie, the duelist and the star player for Odd One Out.
Yeah, Nami had a great showing, but I want to highlight Nami had a great showing, ACS-wise, for sure the MVP, but I just want to highlight Luxi one more time. Had a great showing in that last map, especially in the last few rounds, where she set up that amazing play to close it out for Marty, where she had the quadra kill to even bring them to 12. Like, Luxi had an amazing map as well, and I feel like she gets overshadowed by her teammates fragging out so often, but her util is incredibly clean, and Marty takes home the MVP with completely deserved, without a doubt. But I just want to also shout out her IGL at this point, because Luxi also amazing round, amazing gameplay, and in the end just sets up so much for her teammates and set up so many rounds that they won in the end.
I think it just comes down to that situation, right? I think we saw this all the way in Champions, how EDG, Simon is just showing everyone that we're not really in the era of looking for flex players or duelists turned into different roles here. We're looking for actual support players who can set up your teammates, who can provide that support to them. And NASR Ignite, they do exactly that. A lot of teamwork, a lot of team play. We had that question in the pre-show. We are not seeing the team play. We are not seeing those setups come true for NASR Ignite, and that has been the biggest problem, the communication all around. But today, it seemed like most of their problems have been fixed, and they managed to bring it all the way to the third map and show us what exactly is their game plan for Sunset, despite what we saw yesterday against alternate attacks. And now coming here, tonight, 13-5 and 13-10, I would like to say that NASR Ignite, they look very, very formidable. Given the fact that momentum on their side, team play on their side, when mental and fortitude is there, given the right conditions, they can show us a really, really scary comp. And a lot of teams have to be on the lookout for this team.
Yeah, for sure. A lot of teams has to be on the lookout for NASR Ignite. But still, their attacks performance was shaky. Today were in some parts really, really shaky. But they will get it together, I'm pretty sure, especially for the playoffs. They were a scaling team last split as well, where they started off not in the perfect way and suddenly exploded in the playoffs. And I can see them do the same thing as well. For Odd One Out, now the important game is on Friday, right? It was all along. Like, when we looked at the groups in the green room, we talked about it. It was like alternate attacks against Odd One Out is probably the game that defines the last playoff slot. That attacks wins against NASR was quite a surprise. It was more or less an upset, depending how much you value attacks run in the contenders. But in the end, it would always go down to this game. And as we look at the standings, to give you some more insight into it, because right now Odd One Out, O2, the last place team in group number A. Alternate attacks and NASR Ignite before them. That comes down to map difference. And G2 goes, and obviously the best team in EMEA right now. First a place in that group. On the other side, in the other group, we will see the battle for first place. Giant X versus Falcons Vega tomorrow. Valiant and BBL Queens right behind them, and Heroic also on O2. Currently not in the best of states. But yeah, the important game for Odd One Out, as we already said, it is on Friday. Odd One Out, alternate attacks Ruby, probably the most important game for both of these teams in their entire split.
Speaking of as well, let's have a look at tomorrow's schedule here. There is going to be a reschedule for our second series of today. Unfortunately, Falcons not able, not all of their teammates, I believe it was Falcons, are not able. There's some server issues all around TLDR, honestly, and not all players are able to play as, I would say, in the best conditions as they could be. So tomorrow we're going to be seeing one series played, and then again on Friday. So you're going to be seeing Akamask tomorrow there with Affinity with you guys on the casting desk. So I'm really excited to be seeing you guys. Love to see these two casters, work in tandem to tell the stories of the players. And for now, that will be it for tonight. Thank you guys so much for spending time here over in Game Changers EMEA. As we know, for you guys, this is a league for the girls as well as the non-binaries, for the minority genders, to be exact. And this platform is very, very important to build an ecosystem, to build confidence for the minority genders, to be able to compete on the bigger stage.
Yes. Word. I can't add to this anymore. Thank you everyone in the chat for being with us. Much love goes out. You know, if you have any feedback or something like this, just let us know. You have our X or Twitter accounts right here. And then tomorrow we will be having Falcons versus Giant X. I'm incredibly hyped to commentate this match for you together with Affinity. Have a good one, dear chat, and we will hear from each other tomorrow. Goodbye.
One enemy remaining. One enemy remaining. One enemy. One enemy remaining. One enemy remaining. One enemy remaining. Last player standing. Enemy. One enemy remaining.
Night night, my ult's ready.
Remaining. One. One enemy.
Who?
One enemy. One enemy remaining. Planted. Player standing. Last player standing. Enemy remaining. Planted. Last player standing. Spike.
There.
One enemy seconds left. Spike. planted.
No hug.
Ending. Attack